There we go. We're live. First transatlantic TNF stream of the year. How's everybody doing? Had a whole bunch of people waiting for the stream to queue up. Hello, hello, hello to everybody that's already here. I'm sure we're about to be joined by a hell of a lot more. Got a pretty decent TNF matchup tonight. Maybe on paper have a decent TNF matchup tonight. We got Tom Brady, we got Lamar Jackson, we got a whole bunch of future Hall of Famers on the field. Both teams possibly underperforming expectations this year. But overall, these are two franchises that I expect to right the ship and still be there in the end anyway. So I fully expect a much more palatable TNF game tonight than we're used to. EJ, buddy, how you doing in Buffalo?
I'm good. This is fun. I'm in the Rockpile Report studios. Our buddy Drew and Chris are hosting me this evening. We're actually going to record the podcast from here after the Packers-Bills game on Monday as well. So, yeah, it's fun. It's good to be back on the East Coast. Different beer selection. So, yeah, it's not my setup. I'm just renting a setup. Actually, not renting. They're just being incredibly hospitable. So, yeah, already in Buffalo, here for the game on Sunday night. You'll be coming out tomorrow. Got some other friends coming up on Saturday. Going to be a good time. But I'm with you. I think this game is maybe a little bit undersold, especially since the Buccaneers kind of luffed real hard last week and lost to a team that nobody expected them to lose to in the Panthers. Ravens have had their moments, but when I went back and looked at the film for both last week's Ravens game and last week's Bucs game, there are a lot of really near misses. Like if you were stat scouting those games, you might have thought, oh, this is going to be a stinker on Thursday night. That's not the case, especially with the Bucs. They left, probably 185 yards worth of plays on the field in about
that Mike Evans drop was brutal.
It's funny. Everybody goes to the Evans drop, because Mike Evans is awesome and he never drops it and he was wide open. So of course everybody's going to see that one, and it was terrible. Really would have changed the game. It was very early on in the game. If you weren't watching it, if you were just watching highlights, that happened in like a first quarter. So really kind of set a tone for the game, but there were lots of chances, and Mike Evans made a ton of plays after that because he's Mike Evans. But there were other plays, like 3 or 4 other plays that were big plays for the Bucs that they missed by a freaking hair. Like if you're talking about execution, it's not like, everybody ran the wrong route or it wasn't even close, or so there are a lot of positive plays. There are a couple of negative plays too. Brady just missed a charging safety twice in that game. And I can think of whole like half seasons where he didn't miss a dropping safety at all, like in 8 games, and he missed it twice in 1 game, which was startling. The second one was because Cade Otton fell down, like Otton would have gotten crushed.
Yeah.
As he caught that ball. So it was kind of 50-50, but the first one he just missed, and you kind of gasp. You're like, Tom Brady missed a dropping safety? Like, he doesn't do that. So anyways, This team is not like, they lost to the Panthers, they're done, blow them up, awful. This team is really, really close to being decent. Now, they've got issues. They've lost some key players. Obviously, you lose an all-pro center. Things change a little bit, both for the run and the pass, but they've bucked up pretty well. And their rookie left guard, Luke Goedeke, got bulldozed early in pass protection in the first quarter, and I thought,
yeah.
And he bucked up. Like, he bowed up. He gave really good protection for basically 3 quarters of that game, the last 3 quarters. So both of these teams have issues, but both of these teams are incredibly dangerous, and some of their strengths match, which is really interesting, and some of their strengths kind of hit a weakness. Right now, the Bucs run defense got exposed really hard, and that wasn't an accident last week. They didn't tackle well. They didn't set the edge well. And the Ravens line is abusing people right now. So that's one of those things where it's like Ravens are up here, Bucs are down here right now on run defense. What are we going to see tonight? And we could legitimately see the Ravens go off. And other places, they're better matched in terms of strength to strength, where we should really just kind of get to see top level play, which is what we're looking for.
And it's interesting. This matchup fascinates me because a lot of people are seeing it as, it's a strength versus strength matchup. It's Ravens run game against Tampa run defense. This is the first time in half a decade where the Tampa run defense is average at best. Like
Yeah.
they got absolutely bullied last week against Carolina. Ike Ekwonu took their souls. Christensen had some really nice double teams. We talked about it on the pod. They just, especially in the zone run game, where you kind of need your linebackers. Where if this defensive line is flying up the field, which they do like to do, and they like to penetrate to try to force everything to cut back early, and then trust the linebackers to make a play. If those linebackers aren't making the plays, you're going to get gashed. And like Devin White got torched last week. When it comes to run defense, he got demolished by Ike Ekwonu. I went back and I watched the Saints game because I wanted to see how they played Taysom and really just the Saints run game in general, which it's not the same as the Ravens, but when Taysom's on the field, they do some similar things. And like, Taysom, he only had 3 carries, but about 5 yards per. Mark Ingram as the kind of bash component of that. Because we talk about like slash and bash duos, like for the Ravens, like Lamar is the slash and Edwards is the bash, and against the Saints, Taysom was the slash and Ingram was the bash, and Ingram had a pretty nice day against them too. So, like this is a front seven that's getting absolutely bullied on the ground, and if your front seven's getting bullied on the ground, the Ravens are a tough matchup. So. That's actually a pretty good segue to my prize pick slip, by the way, because I
was wondering about that.
I picked everything kind of according to that narrative. I took Lamar over 60.5 rushing. I took Edwards over 45.5 rushing. I do know that Andrews is playing, Bateman's playing. Their passing weapons are on the field, but I don't think they're going to have to throw as much as maybe people think because this Tampa run defense is so vulnerable. I took Justin Tucker over 7.5 points because I feel like there's going to be a lot of red zone opportunities, and even if they stall out, Tuck's still going to get some points. So I think Tuck gets.
That's his line, 7.5.
I know it's super free because that's 2 extra points and 2 field goals, which seems like a normal day for him.
Well, it's the half that gets me. Like 7, I get right. Like a couple field goals and an extra point. Like the way the Ravens have been playing, 7 feels like free money. 7.5 is that evil little thing where they dangle the line and go, "Oh yeah."
They're basically saying like, "Yeah, we'll give you 2 field goals and a touchdown, but do you think the Ravens can score another touchdown?" And I think they can. I think they can. So give me Justin Tucker with like 8 or 9 tonight. And then, fun fact: the Ravens have, in my opinion, a better run defense than the Bucs this year, but their pass defense has been a lot more vulnerable. Their pass rush, in particular, has been meh this year, and people throw in them a lot, quite a bit. So I took Brady over 39.5 attempts, especially if Baltimore's controlling the game. I think the Bucs are going to have to throw quite a bit to come back into this thing. And then I took Fournette, which this one I'm just trusting. I'm trusting primetime Lenny to get me a touchdown here. Doesn't matter how. Can be rushing, receiving, throwing. Doesn't matter how. Anytime, any kind of touchdown. Lenny. Like I think I got a pretty good shot of 5 out of 5 here.
I think you do. It's really interesting. And strangely enough, the Brady at 39 might be the one I'm most worried about or feel the least good about. Let's put it that way. Fournette, didn't score. I think he's due. The Ravens, interestingly enough, the rushing number for Lamar, the Ravens lined up Lamar as a running back last week.
Yeah, they ran toss to him.
Yeah, they ran toss around the left edge, and they lined up Andrews straight up as a running back inside the red zone. Like not a halfback, like not a what we would call a fullback or a pistol back. Like they lined him up as a straight eye back almost, like an offset eye back, and ran him as a straight running back. So
Do you know the story behind that play?
Which one?
The toss to Lamar. So they were faking it as if Andrews was motioning and then going to do like the tight end sneak that people saw. Yeah. So apparently a month ago they decided they were going to copy that look and then do an iteration on it where Andrews faked that he was going to sneak, and instead they ran a toss and got Lamar out to the edge. And I was like, oh, that's fucking brilliant. And also I really wish that they did that with Justin Fields in Chicago because he would have housed that thing.
Yeah, the toss out to the edge with Lamar is really evil because right now, one of the most sort of thermonuclear weapon plays in all of the NFL is Lamar on a power read,
Yeah.
like a run read, like quarterback power off the run read for the Ravens. Good luck. Like, there's no right answer. And he's really good at reading that play. And obviously, he's incredibly skilled as a runner. We all know that. But he's so good at reading that play, his timing, his lean, everything. And you don't have a good choice because the Ravens have good runners to hand it off to. And you have to respect them both. And that's the idea behind the play. But with Lamar as the sort of nuclear warhead running the ball, if you guess wrong, he's taking you for 12,
Mm-hmm.
14 off a middle QB power read. Like, it's just, there's no right answer. You're going to lose yards either way. It's like more or less is the only thing you're figuring out on that play. It's crazy.
And that's why they're so good in short yardage because that's when they typically like to call that. And
Mhm.
Greg Roman calls it something else. I have his playbook, and I can't remember what he called it in San Francisco, but he had it installed there too.
Yeah,
But
sure.
he called it a lot more with Lamar. And most of like the spread guys call it bash QB counter. And
Yeah.
bash means back away from the pullers, meaning the running back will literally go in the opposite direction of the pullers, and the pullers are just meant for Lamar. It's
Yeah.
so freaking hard to stop in like 3rd and 2. You go back and you look at most of his biggest runs are in short yardage because that's their
Yeah.
main short yardage call, and it fucking works every time. Like 5 years in, it still works every time.
Yeah, it's one of those plays. We talk about this with a division rival. There's Pittsburgh all the time that basically just what they're going to do, but they're going to line it up and try and out athlete and out execute you.
Mm-hmm.
And that is absolutely the case with the Ravens in this play. Like, you're going to see this play 4, 5 times a game from the Ravens,
Oh
and they
yeah.
know and
Mm-hmm.
they don't care.
Yep.
They're like, yeah, and you still have to try and beat it. And so far, nobody has. So step up, like, give it a good shot. Interestingly enough, you were talking about middle linebacker for the Bucks struggling. One of the things that popped out to me when I watched last week's Ravens tape is Josh Bynes is not great in coverage for the Ravens right now, and they are exploiting that, and like Brady will certainly exploit that. I think Kate Otten is going to have a couple middle routes against Josh
Yep.
Bynes.
Yep.
And that's, we called out a couple people last week, made plays in the first quarter. I would not be at all surprised to see nice little 12, 14-yard gain to Kate Otten versus Bynes because he is guarding grass in zone right now, and he's not quick enough to the edge. Not that Cade's super quick.
Quicker than you think, though.
But Cade?
Yeah, for his
I think
size.
he's smooth. He's not really sharp, so he doesn't look quick. Like, he moves, he gets it going, but he's not super twitchy. Let's put it that
Yeah,
way.
yeah, yeah.
Doesn't have a ton of change of direction, but no, he's got good speed. He'll get on top of it if you're not paying attention. Leverage wise, and then the Bucks are doing some really well. It their coverage is getting twisted up. Shaq Barrett ended up 18 yards downfield covering DJ Moore last week.
Yeah, saw that.
That is what we would call not ideal.
No.
And it was the Panthers taking advantage of the fact you're like, okay, you're going to drop him on that side, and we're going to pull everybody else away. So his coverage is going to stretch until, basically it would be a deep third safety, which is everything out to about 15 yards. And they were like, fine, we're going to run DJ Moore up behind you. You're going to see him, and we're going to end up with a one-on-one with Shaq Barrett on DJ Moore, which is advantage Panthers. So interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Bynes is inactive. Oh, that's probably a good thing for the Ravens.
Healthy scratch or injury
I
scratch?
don't know. Chat just said Bynes is inactive. Bynes is out. I did not. Fair disclosure, in trying to get all this set up, I did not see inactives tonight for either team. So if I screw that up, give me a little bit of grace on that one. We should probably answer some super chats. We blew by 3 or 4.
Yeah. Zachary Cretes, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. For $2 Canadian. What's up with Sky Moore? I was promised greatness. I really am intrigued by. Maybe intrigued isn't the right word. Mildly concerned by what has gone on with the Sky Moore situation, because they wanted to get him on the field, and so they tried to do that with punt returns, which he had never really done, and so he wasn't very good at it. Was muffing them. Could argue that they lost the Colts game because of that decision. And so they wanted to get him on the field through that way, and all this time I was like, well, why don't you get him on the field by, playing him as a receiver? But they seem at this time to be more confident in Juju, Mecole, and MVS. I guess it makes sense. Like, he's the rookie, they're the veterans, but in terms of just looking at natural talent, like more other than now Kadarius Toney is the more naturally gifted receiver than all those guys. So what I'm very curious about is, was the Kadarius Toney pickup more of a special teams move so that he would be like the dedicated returner, and maybe they're going to work in Sky Moore as a receiver? Or do they feel that Sky Moore somehow reverted into a pumpkin between the months of August and October, and now they want Toney to be on the field over him as a receiver? I can't quite figure out exactly where they're at with Sky. All I know is he was really good in college. He was destroying everybody in training camp, and then couldn't get on the field in the regular season. I wish I had more context, and I just don't.
I think we should run a blind control experiment if the NFL will let us.
What's that?
So we take Sky Moore and we put him on the Bears.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, and we see if he's good. And if he is, he gets to stay. If he's not, he can go back to KC. What do you think?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Oh, perfect.
Sounds very
then
fair.
We're good. I mean, They just got another receiver. Plus, I don't know. I have a little bit of trepidation about this. Not a ton, because of Cornell Powell, who I loved in college and hit the doghouse in KC and never got out. And there were lots of reasons why. And he may eventually get an opportunity somewhere else. But like, Sky Moore was more talented than Cornell Powell by a fair bit. And same thing, he has not yet found his footing there. Let's just say that. And it is confusing. So we too are confused, I think, is the good answer to that super chat.
Deadfire Griff for $5. Do you think KC can still win the AFC? Absolutely. I think it is a 3-horse race. Well, 2.5-horse race now that the Jamar Chase injury news dropped and he's like a month and a half out. It's a 2.5-horse race between Buffalo, KC, and Cincinnati right now. Baltimore could theoretically get themselves back into it, but they've taken a couple really rough losses, so I don't think they have a shot at the 1 seed anymore, at least a very outside shot. That being said, in the offseason, EJ and I both predicted Buffalo KC AFC Championship game. That was the most common pick, and I think if you asked everybody, they would still say it's the most common pick. They're still going to be there in the last weekend of January, fighting it out. They have just as good of a chance as Buffalo to go to the Super Bowl. They have just as good of a chance as Buffalo to win the conference. You look at every single offensive metric that matters, KC and Buffalo are right next to each other. They're almost indistinguishable, like to the point where overall play success rate, they're 1 and 2 in the league, and they're separated by 0.3%. Like, they're both amazing. So if you had to pick one right now, healthy Buffalo, I would probably take healthy Buffalo, but like, would I be shocked if Kansas City goes up to Buffalo in the playoffs and knocks them off on the road? No. I would not be surprised at all.
Okay, I need you to consider my physical safety.
Oh yeah, you're there. I mean, Chris, no, they're gonna win by 40 and not lose another game. Yeah.
He's sitting over here just burrowing holes in the side of my face with burning laser eyes. So if you're gonna say that Buffalo and KC are even, which I agree, they are very close, just say Buffalo first.
Yeah.
That's all. I just need to say Buffalo first.
I did pick Buffalo to win the Super Bowl, and if pressed, I still would pick them
I'm just
again.
saying,
But
just think of the logistics of the situation. I'm trapped in a basement. I need to get out. Make sure you say Buffalo first.
Yeah. No, they're both really good teams, and I think both fan bases knew going into this year that each other was the big bad wolf. And I think, honestly, it's going to be like that this year and next year and the year after that and the year after that and the year after that. Like, it's the new Patriots Colts. You're going to see each other every year in January. Is what it is. But, as a neutral fan, I love that because we needed a Brady Peyton 2.0, in my opinion, and I think we got it. Jared Cole for $2. What's up, Jared? Thank you for coming back. What's the trade deadline blockbuster predictions?
How about Kamara to the Eagles?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by that, but I also feel like if the Eagles are going to get any type of running back, it's going to be more like a Josh Jacobs type. Like a bruiser inside. I kind of feel like that might be a little bit more likely if they're going to go after any running back. But it's Alvin Kamara. Like again, Howie's going to get what he can.
Howie has a type. He's gone after multiple smaller, extremely quick, very good in the passing game backs in the draft, and he's gotten, quite frankly, he really wanted Tariq Cohen, enough that he threw stuff apparently in the draft room when he didn't get him.
I remember that.
And they've taken multiple shots at guys like that. Kamara is the ultimate archetype. Like he's the prototype for that. He's a guy that is liquid in the passing game, obviously a great slashing runner as well. If he can get his hand on him, that's the top of the mountain. Like that's ridiculous for a team that's already loaded. I mean, you're talking about Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is not bad, and they've got Gainwell, and it's not even rich getting richer. It's like the filthy 1% getting to like the filthy 1/10 of 1%. I mean, it's ridiculous. So that would be one of those moves that would shift. And I'm pretty sure we had a super chat about Quinn as well. So we might as well talk about that.
Thoughts on Quinn to the Eagles from Gage. Again, great transition for $7 Canadian. I thought that it was the perfect move for a team that knows they're in a prime position to make a run, and they have extra assets next year. They already have a quarterback, so they don't need to stockpile assets. They can really just kind of throw some of those into this year and make some moves, either for Quinn or Kamara or whoever, because they got the inside track to the 1 seed, and really the only thing that can throw them off that track right now is if they start taking hits to their depth. Like, this is a war of attrition. That is what this sport is every year. And there's a lot of teams that look great when you just look at the first 22 names on the depth chart, and then you start getting below that, and you're kind of like, they better hope that they stay healthy. Most teams can't stay healthy going into January and February. Like, every single team goes into the playoffs injured. So making this type of move and throwing a late 4th round pick, which is for them going to essentially be an early 5th, to go get Robert Quinn, play 30 snaps a game. If somebody goes down, he can start and you don't really lose a whole lot. They're already the 3rd best graded pass rushing team from Brandon Thorne, who watches everybody's pass rushers every week, so he knows better than everybody. He has them as the 3rd best pass rush, and that was before they got Quinn. So adding another guy who can come in waves, keep people fresh, and insulate you from injury, that is how you win Super Bowls. That is how Philly just won a Super Bowl 5 years ago, was because they basically had 2 defensive lines that were both starting quality. They're trying to get back to that, and I think this move was perfect for it.
Yeah. One of the things that's most underrated about this trade, and a lot of people, like, Quinn didn't make a lot of noise this season in Chicago, and that both drove his value down, which means that's prime Howie territory to go grab somebody. But his percentage of double teams was incredibly high. It was like 58% of the time he's getting double teamed. He's never going to see that in Philly.
Yeah, ever.
Because he's on the 2nd string line, and he's not necessarily even the best guy on that. And that's terrifying that Robert Quinn is not the best guy on your 1st string line. Like, he's not probably even the best guy on their 2nd string line, which is nuts. And he's going to go in and be able to just eat because he's not going to see those double teams. And everybody's like, well, he wasn't doing anything in Chicago. It's just not that big a deal. What he was seeing in Chicago is not going to be what he's seeing in Philly. So he's still got juice in the tank. There's plenty of plays that were almosts, and those are more than likely going to become yes, they are's in Philadelphia.
Also, counting out Robert Quinn, at some point over the last decade, you think people would learn where every time you think his career is trailing off, regardless of the team he's on, whether it's the Rams, the Dolphins, the Bears, now the Eagles, like his career will start to look like it's starting to filter and wind down, and then he'll go through these incredible spikes, like setting the Bears all-time sack record for the Bears at like age 30. So I feel like people need to have learned at this point, like Robert Quinn will be done when Robert Quinn says he's done. Somebody with that much burst and bend and experience, like as a veteran, there's nobody I would rather have at this point. It's a great move by Howie. And also, I thought it was going to cost a lot more because we know that Poles wanted a second round pick. I'm curious to know how long it took the negotiations to go down to you get a 4 or we're done.
Well, the other thing is they're paying for it, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. The Bears are paying his salary. Like the Eagles get Robert Quinn this year for vet minimum, which is like $768 or something. And next year they're on the hook for 2 years of non-guaranteed. Mm-hmm. So if at any point they want to get rid of him or he drops off, like they basically have no financial risk in this deal whatsoever. And they still were only able to get a 4th. And this is, I think, people continuing to overestimate what people can pull in a trade. Now, I think, and I said so, and I got a bunch of pushback, that if they'd done this in the summer, given him a full year, off season with a new team and control, coming off setting the Bears all-time sack record before he started playing soft, that they might have got a 3.
Yeah.
But they were still going to have to pay. And Poles listened to offers in the summer and apparently wasn't willing to do the financial part. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, if they weren't willing to do the financial part, because folks will remember he was signed to an obscene contract by Ryan Pace,
which ended up being decent considering the production.
Single season sack record. If he'd done anything short of that, it would have been terrible. It's still bad in terms of trying to trade him. And teams were like, look, you're going to have to take a little bit of the top off this. We're not like, that's what's souring the drink here. And Poles wasn't willing to. And if he had been, because he ended up doing it eventually anyways, I think they could have pulled a 3rd.
Yeah. But I guess we'll never know.
We will never know.
Max Robinson for $10. Thank you very much, Max. On the floor, putting together this IKEA TV stand for my new TV. Well, now I got to know what TV you got. So hopefully next week I can enjoy your guys' commentary along with the game. Appreciate that. Can't wait for you to drop by. Please wish me luck because I'm going to need it. Well, yeah, it's IKEA. You're going to be there till tomorrow. Sorry, bud. That's just how those things go. I don't know if... See, the last time I put together something from IKEA was 3 years ago. And normally IKEA sends you extra parts so you get nervous. They actually didn't send me enough parts, so I had to go to 2 different stores to get
the part,
to get the correct screw I needed for the Flugklug or whatever the hell it was called. It was like a 3-day process to put together a friggin' dresser.
All right, guess what I got?
An overheated camera?
Maybe. But the mic hasn't overheated yet, so
welcome to my hell.
Yeah. It's not overheated. I know what it is, and Chris is fixing it, which is fantastic. Have I told you how freaking dope Chris is as a host?
Yeah, he's probably feeding you.
The fact he wants to kill me when you say that the Bills aren't the best. Other than that, he is top notch.
Noah Khan, which by the way, I saw your comment about how your last name is pronounced last week, so I think I got it right this time. Khan. Noah Khan, do we get to see Brett on the whiteboard again? Not this week because I had to kind of scramble around and put everything away because I am leaving at 2 a.m. to go to LAX to hop on a flight. I didn't really have time to set up. There's like a whole rig they got to do to set up the whiteboard. So can't do a whiteboard this week because I just didn't have time to get it set up. I'm basically like right after this stream throwing my bag together. And then I'm debating about if I want to drive to the airport early and just sleep in my car at the airport and then go in, or if I want to sleep at home and then wake up at 2. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But I wake up at 2 a.m. and I land at like 5:30 Buffalo time. So
So you'll be here tomorrow, 5:30 p.m.
Yeah, because I got a wicked connection in Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you can like go Uber some barbecue or something. Because
Yeah,
Atlanta's got lots.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
All right. Looks like
Anyways,
we're
I
about
know
to
what
kick
we're
off.
getting, Chris. I know what we're getting Chris for Christmas.
More liquor?
Well, I don't think we could. I got it for everybody at home. You've seen the podcast. You've probably seen the podcast. If you haven't, go subscribe right now. You've seen Brett's liquor cabinet at some point because he's done podcasts downstairs. Chris is worthy competition for that. So I don't think we could actually get him more liquor. No, we should get him the dedicated camera power supplies we have.
Oh, yeah. Those are... Oh, DevDuve. Nice little return to start the game. By the way, we just started the game for people that are following along at home. Just had the opening kickoff. Lamar's walking out.
You're ahead of me tonight.
Yeah,
they just kicked on my screen, so Dev just caught it. So we're about 5 seconds behind over here.
Got that superior California internet. Thank you very much.
Sure. Yeah, that's what that is. Anyways, Dev. So one of the things about DevDuve in this game, the punt return unit, not the kick return unit, is the second-rated punt return unit in the NFL right now, and largely behind DevDuve, who is also the punt returner. Had a couple of big plays last week, and he is lightning as a punt returner. He's actually chipped in his gadget on offense as well. He's had plays in just about every game this year. He's sort of found his role and that sort of primary role on special teams and a nice supporting role in the offense, which I think is probably what they wanted him to be when they drafted him. It's rounded into form. They've had some patience with him, and it's amazing. Mark Andrews. Somebody asked if they should start Mark Andrews or Taysom Hill, and I almost said Andrews because Andrews just always gets yards.
Well, I feel like we're watching a Big 12 game. The first call of the game is Y cross. How about that?
Well, it's better than mesh.
Hey, well, hold on. You saw that tweet today, right?
I didn't actually.
God, there was somebody. Oh, another target to Andrews here in the flat. Somebody on Twitter was like, "Oh my God, the Chargers are calling plays straight out of Madden," and it was on a touchdown call on mesh against man coverage, which is when you want to call mesh. And I was
going to say, don't call mesh through zone and get your receivers killed.
But I was like, first of all, that's exactly when you want to call mesh. Second of all, 32 out of 32 teams run mesh every single week. Third of all, that was a touchdown. So what's the point here?
I love it when people are like, well, he could have hit this guy over here. And you're like, it was a touchdown anyway. Like, it was still a touchdown.
I don't know. I can't please everybody. All right, here we go.
So, yeah, it's anyways, I'll be a little bit behind you.
I couldn't tell if that was a screen or just a busted play out of pistol. I don't know. We'll set up a 3rd and long here. Which, if I pull up my handy-dandy coverage charts.
Ding, ding, ding. Oh, nice. Here it is. And really good defense by the Bucs. They studied that play. So I'm going to play behind you. That was the little short screen, basically, to the right-hand side. They got pressure, but they didn't give up coverage on the screen. And usually teams are selling out for pressure and they give up coverage on the screen, and then it's a big gain behind them. Bucs kept both layers of defensive integrity. They got one rusher free to basically force Lamar to throw it, and they had not a picket fence, but they had 2 guys in front of the screen as well. So they did pretty well.
Oh God, Andrews almost just died.
See, you're ahead of me. I'm gonna see if I can't hypercharge our internet over here. Maybe I'll hook it up to a car battery and see if I can catch up.
Yeah, Lamar tried to fit this into a window and got crunched. I mean,
a little bit.
Oh God, that break by Levante was so good though.
Well, Levante David, we didn't talk about in the pre-show, and we should always talk about Levante David in the pre-show because he is always going to make plays. He is one of the best middle linebackers in the NFL, and he's going to make plays against the run. He's going to make plays against the pass. He will occasionally make plays on the blitz. He's not a great blitzer. He's good, but he's not great. But he's always going to make plays. Like, he's going to be in the middle of that mix every single week because that's just who he is.
I'm going to let you get on your Raven special teams grandstand again. Okay, this is the second time, I think, in 2 weeks that we've had that happen on stream where a
Mhm.
gunner pushes somebody into the
Yep.
returner and causes a muff, which I
Yep.
think technically isn't legal.
It's not a penalty.
It's not a penalty.
No.
You're allowed to take a teammate and throw it into the returner.
Yeah, if you can do it.
Man, a lot of
And it's a
people.
wise play because you won't be flagged for it.
Oh,
Like
it's
it's not
great play.
nice.
I thought I could have sworn it was illegal, but
No,
apparently,
it's the other way around, right? If you, as the kicking team, get pushed into the punter, like you get off, right?
okay.
You don't you get freed up for that. But if you, as basically the kicking team, take one of the defenders and whip him into his own teammate and he can't control himself, like ooh, ooh, okay. Shaq Barrett just gave Lamar a little bit
Yeah,
of
that
nice.
was one of those like, don't even hesitate and play surf technique. Just go after the quarterback. We'll deal with the ramifications.
Yeah,
And he
exactly.
did.
And he did, and he's Shaquille Barrett, super fast, and he's unblocked, and he just didn't. He sold out, right? That's what that play is.
Okay,
He
Chad
was
is
like, I don't care if you
saying
pitch it, I'm gonna hit you.
Chad is saying it's legal if they're engaged. So basically, that would turn it into like incidental contact. If he's being blocked and throws the blocker into him, as
That's
opposed
right.
to not being engaged and throwing him into him.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just like pick a guy up and whip
Okay,
him into
that's a nuance I
a
did not
returner,
know
but
about. So thank you, chat, for letting me know about that.
yeah, they've driven him in twice in a row, and especially believe you me, the entire NFL sees the tape, and they saw that, and somebody was like, "Hey, man,
Yeah.
we're gonna put big guys on little guys because if you can get him on his heels and he can't stop the skate, like you can literally run him through the punt returner, and it's legal, and you're gonna mess him up."
Chad, if you can
All
look
right.
this up for me real quick, if they signal for fair catch, does it still count as fair catch interference? If they use your own blocker's body for it? That's another nuance I'd like to know.
Yeah, that one I don't know, and that's an excellent question. I too would like to know that.
Because at that point, then the way to get around it
Was
is just call fair catch. Zion
that
McCollum,
Carlton
yeah,
Davis?
Mark Andrews.
Zion. That's cool. Zion needs a little bit of redemption. He got caught in no man's land last week for a touchdown. But that's a Zion McCollum play. Zion McCollum is big and fast. He's basically Tariq Woolen light and not that light. And those are plays he is built to make, and he can be the tight end eraser.
Okay, yeah, they're going back
All
to the
right.
muff there. It says Jalen.
I'm
I
gonna
don't blame Jalen Darden for that one, by the way.
No, when your own guy gets thrown into you,
Yeah.
absolutely not. All right. I am going to try and sync the feed here because apparently we can put a little nitrous on it.
For what it's worth, I'm on Twitch. I don't know if you're on normal Amazon or not.
We are on normal Prime, but
Okay.
we think we have a fix, and since we have a commercial break here, we're going to try and do that. You could probably catch up on super chats.
I think I will.
I think
Let's see here. Austin Cole, $2. Thoughts on DeBear's curb stomping the Pats? I thought it was very much needed to help build the confidence of Justin Fields. The offense itself, it's not that it took the ball out of his hands, but it made it so that there was a lot of balance and he didn't have to do everything by himself. They ran the ball really well. So there was a whole lot of, third and medium, third and short rather than third and 9. And they converted a lot of third downs because a lot of them were very manageable because the run game was doing so well, both Monty and Khalil. And so I think that just, the other hand being able to do something for once and run the ball consistently so that, he could just kind of be a distributor and a chain mover when he absolutely needed to be and just make like 2 great throws a game, which he did. That was key. And as they continue to build out the roster, because they're going to have $11 billion to work with next year and some picks,
Do you know what the number is?
135, right?
It's like 134.
Yeah. Which is a
It's
lot of
obscene.
money. It's a lot of money.
Do you know? Here's the follow-up question to that on Jeopardy. Do you know what the second highest team is?
Probably
And I don't
like
care about the team. Do you know what the number is?
80, maybe.
58.
Yeah, it's absurd.
Yeah,
It's
58
it's
is the
dumb.
second highest cap number,
So
and
they're going to
Bears
be able to get
34.
they're going to be able to get whoever they want. Like I know the Packers want to retain Elton Jenkins. They can outbid Elton Jenkins or outbid the Packers for Elton Jenkins anytime they want
They
to.
can do any number of things, and honestly, Ryan Poles needs to not just spend that all on free agents. He also needs to extend some folks and spread it around, and quite frankly, carry the amount he's allowed to carry from next year to the year after. Because you shouldn't be spending 134 million in a year,
I
regardless
am.
of the Bears.
Do you think that because they have so much money and it doesn't matter as much now that they'll pay Roquan because it's not going to eat that big of a percentage now?
See, that's okay. This is a whole nother discussion that we need to have on some other forum that we have not yet developed because it looks like the Ravens are ready to kick off. Does it look like that on your screen? Am I now synced up?
I got Brady walking out. So you're only like 10 seconds behind. Not even.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You just kicked it on my screen. Okay, we're way closer now. That's
yeah.
Anyways, long story short about Roquan, I'm like, who else are you going to pay in terms of homegrown talent? Who else do you have coming
Mooney,
up?
Roquan, that's it.
Unless you're going to pay Montgomery and you don't need to because you have Khalil Herbert. Anyways, mine was like, well, this is what you want to do with high draft picks, right? Roquan was drafted in the top 10. He's a very good player. These are the guys you want to pay. So, what? Like, why wouldn't you with all that money? But the other option is, hey, you don't want that much tied up in a middle linebacker. All right, Brady throwing his first pass for
Kyle
me.
Hamilton, you gotta hold on to that, bud.
Yeah, that's why he plays defense.
Or was that?
Oh, by the way, while we're at it,
Huh.
I got to go to a beer Nirvana today, not the beer Nirvana, the Wegmans beer aisle, and came away with this Jack's Abbey Smoke and Dagger Black Lager, and this stuff is elite. It is really, really delicious.
Well, when I come up tomorrow, we'll have to have some. Also, I misread the number. It was Marlin. It wasn't Hamilton. The other guy that ends in 4. Marlin, you have even
instead of 14.
Yeah, Marlin has even less excuses. You can't be all pro and
Oh,
drop
there's
picks
your
like
Lenny.
that.
You just need Lenny touchdown.
I just need Lenny
yards.
touchdown. Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I need.
All right. I'm trying to keep up with the slip here, and huge thanks to Prize Picks for making all this fun happen. Good times. I had a good experience with Prize Picks this week. Not that I don't always, but I got to refer somebody to them that reached out to me and said, "Hey, do you think?" Yeah, they were like, "Do you think this would be a match?" I was like, "I bet it would be." Let me talk to my friend at Prize Picks. It sounds like it's going to work out. So everybody's happy about that.
There were so many available bets on this game. You could even bet number of punts. And I was like, they broke out all the stops for this one.
That could be one thing. Guess who's at the bottom of that pile?
Who?
Leading the way on the blocking. Cade Otton.
Yeah, that's our guy.
Yeah. Comes off the right edge, starts with a little duo, gets outside the frame. His guy still gets in the way and stops Fournette, but really like Cade Otton as a two-way tight end. And the other guy, Kieft, he's gonna make a play in this game. That's my call for the Bucs.
He just got 9 yards on that last one.
I just saw him catch it right now. So my delay is slightly behind you, but there you go.
Yeah, there you
That's
go.
timing. Kieft is gonna make a play. Brett's like, he just did. Like, oh. Technology, don't you love it?
Marcus Peters is like 15 yards off Mike Evans. Oh, he broke it. He gone? Nah. But
you're way ahead of me.
Big game,
Brady's
though.
about to take the snap, so now I think I know what's going to happen. I have the sense of foreshadowing, which is you yelling about it.
Love that. Okay, single high look. You get Godwin on the cross. Massive gap.
Yeah, here's one of the things about both of the Ravens safeties. They are both terrors in the run, against the run. They're both terrors on the blitz, and neither of them is good in deep man coverage. No. Clark and Stone are okay at deep zone, and I do mean okay. Neither one are really good. And, Marcus Peters not being the best tackler one-on-one is nothing new. That was part of his scouting report. It's been part of his game the entire time. He brings you other things. But the two safeties for the Ravens, neither one of them is good in deep single coverage. they could be exploited there. And Tom Brady is still capable of doing it. Some of the throws he put on the throw he put to Evans in the third quarter last week in between the two defenders, like that looks like a magic trick. It doesn't even look possible. Like I went back and watched that play like 3 or 4 times and I was like, how does he fit that ball in there? Like it's insane.
Oh, the touch. Get your toes in. Fuck. Left it too deep.
I'm looking at Mike McDonald calling in plays and I'm like, I don't know. I think Mike McDonald's toes look pretty good.
Oh, man. Brady just floated it too deep. You got to leave that a little bit flatter so Mike can get it. But penalty on defense.
Yeah. Oh,
I know.
man.
It's right there. Right there for the taking.
No, I'm just thinking about second week in a row. Mike Evans has a route he's run completely for the win for a touchdown.
Yeah, and it just doesn't work.
You can 100% say that Mike Evans has 2 touchdowns left on the field, not with any kind of interpolation or extrapolation. Like there's 2 touchdowns left on the
field. Get
field.
in there, Lenny. Get in there. God damn it.
Did he?
He's close.
Uh-oh.
He's short. 1 yard short.
I can tell, because otherwise you would have a green mark on your skin. But look at Evans' separation. He's like 7 yards of separation there. That's unreal.
All right, give it to him again. Give it to him again. I swear to God, if you guys throw it to O'Keefe right now, I'm gonna be so mad.
EJ's gonna jump up and down, but you'll be mad. You didn't bet on O'Keefe. No, O'Keefe's. I mean, he made 1 play. He'll probably make another play in this game.
There we go. Cash it. First quarter.
Lenny touchdown.
Yep.
1 check down.
Got it.
All right.
That honestly, I think that was the hardest one of the night.
It was this one I'm second most worried about. So it's good to check that one off in the first quarter. There's a bit of straight up relief there.
Oh, great down block from Donovan Smith, the left tackle, washing everything down. Great job by that offensive line.
They're opening some holes in the run game, and Donovan Smith, who normally does not, struggled a bit. He had some bad looking pass pro reps last week.
Yeah,
it was Brian Burns. Like, to be fair, Brian Burns makes lots of people look bad, but he made Donovan Smith look silly. And Donovan Smith does not normally look silly. He is a very solid player. Brian Burns had him like wrong-legged, standing there like a scarecrow on one leg. It was bad news.
Logan for $5. Did I mess up starting Bateman in fantasy? I think when it comes to Bateman, like, you are so reliant on him making a big play out of the few chances he gets. And I think it's just a function of the offense that he's in, because Mark Andrews is the number 1 receiver. It's very similar to Kansas City, where it's like Travis Kelce is the number 1 in Kansas City. And he's been the number 1 in Kansas City for, I don't know, since the day Pat started being the quarterback. And even before that. And so Tyreek, even as great as Tyreek was, like, Tyreek was still the number 2 option in that offense. So best case scenario, you're going to get the same thing in Baltimore, which is Bateman being the number 2. This is also an offense that runs the ball a lot and targets certain areas of the field a lot more than others. And we know that when it comes to like deep sideline shots, that's not typically where Lamar likes to go with the ball, which is what I think Bateman can do really well, and that's what he showed when he was at Minnesota. He's working deep down the boundaries. So I think it's just a function of the offense that he's in, where, like, we saw it in the preseason. He ran a really nice bullet slant and took it for like 70 yards. Like, he can do that kind of stuff, but without him breaking an explosive, pretty much all by himself with his like 4 targets a game, it's going to be tough for him to put up the numbers that we know he's capable of. Like, you put him in Green Bay right now, and he tears the roof off. But he's in Baltimore, so it is what it is.
Yeah, he is definitely subjected to his situation, and the Ravens are really, I don't want to say never, but until Roman goes, never going to truly feature a number 1 in the way that other teams do. So whenever you're betting on him and you get him in fantasy and you go, hey, I got a number 1, you Did you really? I feel like you got a number two. Like that's what you got because he's number two in that offense for sure. Just because he's the number one wide receiver doesn't mean he's ever going to perform like a number one wide receiver. And that's not a knock on him or his skills. It's exactly what you said. It's his fit in that role, in that offense. And it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, chat is asking for me to pause it and start it after
Hang
10
on.
seconds.
I have one more gambit here
Okay.
to see if we can't maybe get me speed it up. So I'm gonna hop off camera for a sec, mute myself. I'll be right back.
Okay. Chat, I want you to know that I did try that, but on Twitch when you pause it and then you unpause it, it'll go back to where it's supposed to be. You can't freeze it on Twitch, unfortunately. So it's just I think it's just the way that Amazon set it up because they want it to be live. Which is annoying because on TV, if you have a DVR, you can pause it, but you can't do it on Twitch. It's a functionality issue that I would like to send a very strongly worded letter about, but unfortunately is what it is for now. All right. Ravens starting the next drive here. 1st and 10, 25. Going right back to the drop back pass game. I'm intrigued that they're not running the ball as much as I thought they would against a somewhat vulnerable Bucs run defense. I would like to see them get these running backs more involved, which I never thought I'd have to say that about a Greg Roman offense, but can you not switch to prime? I could try at halftime. Yeah. Well, not try. I know I can at halftime, but based on the way that I have OBS set up, right now, I think it's best to try that at halftime than in the middle of a drive. Go Shaq Barrett crashing down the line, getting a nice TFL. So if you are going to run on Tampa, running at Vita Vea probably isn't the way you want to do it. I would rather try to do everything I can to isolate these linebackers, but they also got Raheem Nunes-Noches there. Like, I don't know. I think the way that Carolina ran the ball with a lot of outside zone and trying to get these guys moving side to side so that you could climb up on the linebackers instead of running directly at, the 650 pounds of beef they got in the middle. I think, schematically speaking, there's better ways to approach that. Oh, Lamar, get rid of it. Or don't. Oh, man. That was close. Lamar was almost able to make the throw in the run there. Very makeable throw, but tough. I respect him being able to get out of that sack twice, though. It was a throw kind of back across his body, and I think people get spoiled seeing Mahomes make that every week because he's one of the best quarterbacks ever at being able to kind of throw as a rotational thrower is what quarterbacks call it. Being able to throw against his momentum and use the rotation of his core to still generate velocity even when his feet are moving a different way. And he does a whole bunch of, like you look at Bobby Stroop, who's his trainer, how they train his hips to kind of be disassociated from his torso so that he can generate velocity with his torso while moving one direction. That's how he's able to then throw back to his left as he's rolling right. It's a really hard throw to make. And so I don't really begrudge Lamar for not being able to do it just because Mahomes can, because Mahomes is better at doing that than almost anybody ever. So, it is what it is. Just switch to Twitch. Stream quality is so much better. Is the Twitch quality better than Amazon?
We're good. We solved it.
What happened?
I pulled out my tablet.
That was it? That was all it took?
Well, I brought my tablet from home. So we had originally run the stream through the computer, Prime through the computer, and then the TV we were running it off was Roku enabled, and the Roku one upstairs was faster, so we switched it to Roku, and it was still below. And so I fired up my tablet, which is what I watch it on when I'm at home in the man cave, and logged into the Wi-Fi, and I was like 7 seconds ahead. So
Well, how about
We're
that?
just gonna go with that.
Okay.
We're just gonna go with that. Yeah,
Okay.
it's perfect.
I don't know, man. Technology's fucking
It's
weird.
dude, the fact that you're in just outside LA and I'm in Buffalo and we are live streaming a game to how many hundred people at this moment?
500 in the first
There's
quarter. It's pretty
500
good for
people
us. Yeah.
at this moment, and they're like, okay, that's crazy enough. Like, you know, the only thing would be cooler is if you could beam here tomorrow and not have to be on the flight for like 7.5 hours.
Yeah, more than that even.
Yeah. Well,
Brett,
you got the
who wins in a fight, 3 Vita Veas or 1 silverback gorilla? Do you understand how powerful a silverback gorilla is?
I think he's probably gonna come back with, do you understand how powerful Vita Vea is? But
I
that would just
do.
be my
I do. And I'm sorry, that silverback is going to have some.
go eat.
You're going to eat. He's going to have a lot of food that week.
Yeah, 3 Vita Vea is a lot of food.
Now, Vita's
And
pretty fast. One of them could probably get away, but
you're not gonna catch all 3 Vita Vea. That's hilarious. Now we're gonna get like recipes in the chat for 3 Vita Veas.
Okay. Let's see, Tom.
The really
back on the
interesting
field.
thing about this is now that the tablet's up to speed and I have the monitor behind it, as Chris pointed out, I basically have my own replay.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, check that out.
I could get it going on my laptop here, and just
Yeah, we
intentionally.
can have 18 different Prime streams and just pick the multiverse we want to talk about.
Amazon's gonna be like, wow, the ratings are really good this week. I wonder why.
I know. Everybody has 8 streams going.
By the way,
All right.
apparently NBC is involved on the production. Like, it's not just Amazon, but NBC, I guess, on the back end does a lot of production for this, which makes sense because it's like a high quality production, and NBC does good work. But just something I learned today that was interesting.
Well, there you go. And JJP just dropped in a super chat talking about hockey season, which is extremely relevant because I'm in Buffalo.
Oh yeah, you're in Sabres country.
Yeah, I'm a Sabres guy. Grew up a Sabres guy. My dad was really into hockey. My dad played semi-pro hockey, and Brett's a hockey guy. I played a ton of, boot hockey and pond hockey and like little super junior hockey. But as far as pro teams go, big Sabres guy. Love the fact that Seattle's got the Kraken now. Brett and I have pledged to go to a Kraken game because that's going to be super fun. And anyways, I won't even say that because it'll just inflame people. But who's your pro team? Your Sharks or Ducks?
I'm Ducks. Fuck
Okay,
the Sharks. Fuck the Sharks.
Just checking. See, this is why I wasn't going to say anything else about hockey, because people are like, what? And then they're going to hold it against you for basically ever.
Oh, man. They're running a lot.
Yeah, if you had Fournette, any kind of overage for rushing, you'd be all set. But you already got your Fournette mark. Why don't you bring up your slip? Somebody asked previously what was left on the slip. So why don't you pop that sucker up?
Let's see. I got Lenny cashed. I need Tom to throw another 35 passes.
That's the one that has me worried. That was my number one, like, I don't know.
Tucker. Oh, they didn't count Tucker's field goal yet, but so I need another 5 points from Tucker. Right. And then Gus Edwards has -1 yards, so I need 47 yards.
Beat that up. How many plays have the Ravens even run?
Like 10.
Right.
Maybe. And most of them in passing. That's what's interesting about it is, like the script is kind of backwards for this, where Tampa's been running a lot. Baltimore's been throwing a lot.
They opened up with a lot of passing for sure.
Yeah. So we'll see. Got a long way to go. And if there's one thing we've learned from these streams, it's, man, I get crazy ass backdoor covers in the fourth quarter.
Garbage time is Brett's time. We should just rename it Brett's time, because for everyone you've needed to pull like one out of the fire, they've all come in the last like 3 or 4 minutes. So that is absolutely the time that you're making hay.
Ooh,
but they've got Brady throwing now, even if it's little stuff. And this is one of the things with the play they just ran, which is screenplay. They ran it a couple of times last week. This is an extension of their outside run game.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't really – Rashad White a little bit, but they haven't really found the guy that runs outside. So they just line up in a little triangle and throw it.
Yeah.
And they've got enough size in their wide receiver core that they use, Evans and Godwin as blockers, and that one was to Perriman. Like, they just use it as a little whip run play, and they do it 3-4 times a game easily, if not 5 or 6.
Oh god.
Oh, yikes! That
That
didn't work out too
it
well.
almost looked like Rashad didn't expect the ball to come to
Oh,
him
check
that
it out.
quick.
Did you see the guy that made the tackle?
Is it Patrick Queen?
No. Did you see his neck? It's Klein.
Oh, does he have the little
Yeah, he does.
the
Klein is wearing one.
the Q collar?
Yeah, the Q collar,
Yeah,
which is
I was
amazing.
talking to them this week. I think I'm gonna. Well, I want to talk to independent doctors, but
Sure, sure.
I want to do a video on that and take it to some neurologists and cardiologists and get their opinions on it. Because if that thing like works,
Yeah, no, if it
that
does what
will
it says it does,
that'll
it's going
change
to
the
be super
game
effective.
forever.
Oh. I'm now the Mike Evans phantom TD total from the last 2 weeks is now 2.5.
As somebody who
That was a
has
half.
Evans in his starting lineup, trust me, I know.
I bet you do. That's a half. I'm counting that one as that was what I would call a regular miss. The other two are just like, oh, could have been, could have, should have, would have.
At least the Bucks offense is looking functional tonight. I know the Ravens defense ain't hot shit this year, but they're at least looking functional.
Yeah, and if you watched the first 2.5 quarters, whoa, that did not look functional. That was K-Dot, and they were going for it. But if you watch the first 2.5 quarters of last week's game, even though it was a bad loss to the Panthers really sort of turned it on at the end. And again, the Bucks were in that game, except for a couple of misses, well into the third. They still had good chances well into the third. And, it got lopsided at the end, but that was largely because they couldn't contain the Panthers' run game. They were unable for the life of them. And this is the weirdest thing to say for the Bucks run defense. They could not set the edge.
Mm-hmm.
The edge got caved in over and over and over again. And when that's happening, Devonta Foreman and Chuba were just going nuts. They were rolling off 17, 24, and that's, you're done at that point. They're going to grind clock. You're never going to catch up. So,
chat's asking, what is a Q collar? This is something that I literally just found out existed this week.
We just found out about it. I've seen them, but I didn't know what they were. The first time I saw them most recently, somebody said Kuechly was wearing one for the last couple of years of his career.
I didn't even notice. Yeah,
I didn't either. But 2 weeks ago, I saw Drew Tranquil, one of our favorite linebackers, plays for the Chargers, and he had this little collar on, and it doesn't quite connect in the front. It's not anywhere near like a neck roll. It's really pretty small. Who do we say was wearing one tonight? Klein. Yeah, so you can see it on Klein tonight on the Ravens. It's not very high profile, but it's basically a small collar, and the idea is that it puts a little bit, 1.2 pounds of pressure on the return valve of blood from your brain, right? So one side feeds blood to your brain, the other side returns it back to your circulatory system. It puts 1.2 pounds of pressure on that, and supposedly, these are not all, we're not doctors, these are not claims backed by anything from us. This is what they say about it. It keeps 1 to 2 teaspoons of extra blood around the brain, and it basically acts like a seatbelt for your brain. It puts a little bit of extra fluid pressure in your head that just makes your brain move a little bit slower. For those of you that don't know about concussions, the way a concussion occurs, your brain's obviously suspended in fluid. When the inertia gets too much and your brain exceeds the ability of that fluid to stop it, it bumps off the inside of your skull. And concussion is basically a brain impact on bone. It's a bruise on your brain, if we're going to oversimplify it. And this basically just makes there be a little higher fluid pressure in your brain, so it's less likely to happen. It doesn't keep you from getting concussions. It doesn't eliminate them. It just makes it supposedly harder for them to occur. It's a fascinating concept. Quite a few guys are wearing them in the NFL now. I think the estimate was up in the high 40s. And, again, you're right. If it works, there are a great many people that are going to be wearing this thing very soon.
And not just in football. We're talking about soccer, cheerleading,
cycling, snowboarding, you name it.
Anything, because there's a lot of sports that have concussion problems, not just
Yes.
football.
Yes.
And if that is a legit thing, I would very much like to do a video on it because I think that's an important thing to talk about.
Yeah. All right. Dane Roberts for $20. Love the work y'all are doing. I'm doing my own side statistical analysis with my engineering and comp science background, and you guys were a huge motivation for it. Really?
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. That's awesome.
You're smarter than me already, by the way. So
Yeah.
if anything, I'm motivated by you.
Love the in-depth preseason looks and keep it up. Dane, thank you so much for checking all those out. That was a ton of content. For saying that, it's incredibly kind. Really, that kind of stuff moves us. One of my favorite moments ever doing all of this, all bootleg, was last year's Shrine Bowl. And when we got to interview Bam Olaseni, who's a tackle for the Raiders, correct?
Yeah, I think he's still on their international program, I think.
Yeah. So Bam Olaseni played at Utah. He's an offensive tackle, but he played guard and whatever else. Anyways, grew up in England, was introduced to American football by a coach over there, ended up playing on youth teams. And before we even sat down, he's this huge dude, 6'8", 3, who knows, 30, like what, 6, 7, 8-inch arms, like huge guy. And he's very soft spoken. And he comes up to Brett and says, "So I just need to tell you before we get started that like your videos are how I learned how to play football,"
which is insane.
And I was like, we both kind of stood there for a minute, like, is he serious? Is he trolling? Like, what's? And we realized he was dead serious. That like his coach showed him Brett's videos, among others, to learn football concepts for these kids in North London to learn how to play American football. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, Brett was like, I don't know what to say. And it's amazing. So whenever anybody says I started a podcast or I started writing or I'm I started doing draft analysis, whatever it is, and that we were any kind of inspiration for that, or we showed them it could be done or whatever else, that just always stops me in my tracks. It's crazy.
First of all, thank you. Second of all, after seeing that Vita Vea sack, I'd like to reconsider my answer about the silverback.
Is it a healthy silverback or is it like an elderly silverback?
I think two will escape now, not just one. The third will sacrifice himself, but he'll put up a decent fight.
So we only need recipes for one Vita Vea?
Yes. Also, somebody in chat said, "What does promo code Coleman get you on Prize Picks?" And the answer is nothing, because the promo code is Bootleg. If you use promo code Bootleg, they'll match your deposit up to $100. So you basically get an extra free $100 to use on the platform. And I really got to calculate if somebody did that in week 1 and then just tailed every slip I had for TNF. I need to calculate how much they would have made.
We could do our own little like Coleman index. It's like a stock market index.
How shit is Brett at betting?
Because you haven't lost.
I'm up. I just don't know how much.
No, but did you lose a single slip? Because even the one you got 3. Have you ever gotten less than 3?
Yes, one time. I think
one time. I think you lost one slip, and that is 2 slips a week. Skipping, 1 week because Brett had the ultimate gunk, so we didn't run a stream that week. But every other week he's run 2 slips, and out of that, so we'd be at like 14 slips at this point.
Oh, I'm just talking about the main ones. On the second half slips, I can't remember, but on the main ones, I've only lost once, I think.
Okay, fine. So out of 7 slips, you've lost once. You've broken even once or twice. You've done 4s a bunch of times and won 5.
Yeah.
So
I'm
up. The Coleman index is not bad.
Yeah. So again, the graphic at the bottom of the screen, which looks conspicuously like a YouTube ad, like a pop-up ad, but it's not. It's actually part of the stream. That has the promo code Bootleg and the deposit match and all that kind of stuff. So you can try using promo code Coleman, but you ain't gonna get anything out of it.
You have $0.
Yeah.
And we need to update our Prize Picks logo next week too. We have the fancy one from the podcast. The one that Jay and the editors put on the podcast.
Yeah. I gotta get that from him.
I like that one.
Yeah.
So, well, 1% better every week, Coleman. You know this.
Vita washes that gorilla.
Don't
I don't know
think
about that.
so. Even the old sickly gorilla is going to be real difficult to deal with, um, for sure.
This week may put him negative. I don't know. Got a long way to go. I just need like one
I
nice
the,
Lamar run and we're back on track.
Honestly, the Tom one is the one that's catching me because that's a lot of throws, like, and they're running a lot. So,
Yeah.
you got to get the Bucks down a little bit to where they're forced into the passing offense a little bit more.
Ah,
Oh, got a little Dev Duve.
yeah. The outside corner made a great play holding off that block and then just kind of rolling underneath it. Really nice job by the outside corner.
One of the things I picked up on the Bucks tape last week is that on third down, they dare you to throw underneath and then they rally tackle.
Yeah.
They will double anything deep. They will set up a fence at the line, whatever, and they will give you, if it's 3rd and 10, they will give you 6. And then they challenge you to get 4 and yak. And for the most part, they're really successful at snuffing those out. So that's how they play those. They just basically say, no, we're gonna make it really painful to throw back here. You can throw into there all you want, and then they rally tackle. And they were very successful in keeping folks from getting first that way. And that's just how they do it when they've got a 3rd and long.
Nice return from Jalen Darden there. He's quick. I would like to see him get more involved as an actual receiver, but I also understand the receiving core is pretty deep, so it's hard for him to get the snaps. But I would really like to see him get out there and give him some design touches on screens or sweeps or something like that.
You sound like you're an advocate for his dating profile. I just really want to see him put himself out there. We just need some more reps. Like, we just need to touch up his profile. He'll be out there, no problem. Yeah, you're talking to a Jalen Darden stand, so I don't need any fluffing for Jalen Darden. He's a great little player, and he is very surprising in a normal offense. At least he was in college. I remember sending you 3 stills when I was doing film study on Jalen Darden, and I was like, and he scored on all of these.
Uh-huh.
And he's surrounded by 3 guys with angle and a sideline, and there is no way in hell he should have scored, and he scored on every one of them. He is extremely creative, quick with ball in his hands. He's been mostly used on returns. They flirted with him on offense a little bit last year. Didn't really go super well, but yeah. All right. Hey, Autumn's back.
I haven't seen Autumn in a while.
Super chat from Autumn. Yeah, Autumn 999. She was here last week, but always good to hear from you, Autumn. It's fun to hear that actual football players learn from your stuff. It is. It's really cool because Brett's stuff was the stuff that got me into it too. The Kuechly video is still my favorite. Yeah, that is. The Kuechly video is a classic as far as I'm concerned. If we're ranking Coleman classics, Kuechly video's got to be up there.
Which, speaking of, first of all, thank you, Autumn. I appreciate that. Second of all, I am trying to find the right people to make the right connections to do a video with Luke in the off season if I can.
Okay, so when I said that the Baltimore safeties aren't good in man, they are good at what they just did.
Coming downhill and hitting, yeah.
And hitting, yeah, absolutely. They're both hammers, and that is how they play D. And these are the chances they take. Look at Stone break on that ball. Like, he's just coming for contact. He knew he wasn't going to get a hand on it. He's not trying to get a hand on that ball. He's just going for contact. He timed it up perfectly. Great play. It's just a different way. It's not people say, oh, this is the best way, or this is the best. Oh, it's great if you can be a ballet dancer and jump in front and just tip it away with your fingertips. Yeah, not everybody can do that.
Oh,
and as a defensive back, great punt. Yeah, great punt. So just like being a receiver, there's different ways to win. And being a defensive back, you have to know what abilities you have and use those. And Geno Stone knows he can hit, and he's got great timing, and he is not afraid to do it. Like, he is skilled in that area. So good on him for saying, this is how I have to play this route. And he was successful is the bottom line.
I have kind of been intrigued because he has a somewhat similar build. I've been intrigued about maybe doing the Mark Barron route with him and like just packing on a little
Yeah.
bit and going sawed off shotgun, former safety, turn him into a dime linebacker.
Well, I mean, Shaq Thompson is in that mold.
Yeah, Shaq's a lot bigger though.
Uh, he is now, like when he was in college, he was not. He's a
Yeah, he was
little
like
taller, but
210 in college, I think, or something like that. But
yeah. And Stone's like what 190.
no, he's got to be 200 at this point.
Yeah. So again, you're talking about 10-pound difference. Like
Yeah.
we're not talking about a ton. So it's possible, and I really think that all goes back to again, we're talking about some Husky defenders, and Geno Stone's an Iowa guy, but it really goes back to a guy out of Washington State that went to Arizona and really was one of the first guys that got rolled into that dime backer role. Barron was a little bit before that, but you know, that role got popularized, which was, hey, dime backer, and people started calling it dime backer, which was a heavy safety that was going to come up and hit, and that's what you're talking about doing with Stone. So
Did you see the Luke and Micah Parsons video going over their big plays? Did Luke do a video with Micah? I haven't heard about that. I gotta go find it.
you don't. I would assume so if it came up in the chat.
Is Luke doing media for somebody?
He's doing. He was doing Panthers media,
Oh, I didn't.
but I don't know if he's doing outside, like independent media outside of that.
Yeah.
But he would be excellent.
Yeah.
He Premier League soccer today, where it was former players on a demonstration pitch, kind of like the AstroTurf field they have at NFL Films, but it was a much better version of that because they were talking about the roles, and this would very easily translate to American football, talking about the roles players are in and techniques that they have to use, and exactly what I was talking about in terms of, hey, it depends on who you are as a player and what your skills are, because not everybody can play that the same way. And they had a very famous former defenseman come on and say, look, ooh, there's a little Gus. That's right for your slip.
I got my 25% of my Gus yardage right there. I'll take that.
It's surprising it took that long, quite frankly, because Gus ran really hard last week. He'd been injured. He's been off for a while. And Gus always runs hard, but it was good to see him coming back from injury, that he retained that sort of aggressiveness and assuredness that he can, like, really hit people, bounce off, and keep going, because that's always been a big part of his game. Whoa!
What was that protection?
Said,
So the line was blocking like it was counter, and Lamar was acting as if Gus was supposed to be protecting off the edge, and Gus wasn't protecting at all.
Yeah.
Was that like an RPO
that was
gone?
Like PA to nothing.
I can't tell if it was an RPO gone bad or what.
This happened.
It was clearly a bust.
That was not pretty.
I just don't know whose fault. I don't know whose fault it was.
It looks like PA that went nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, Shaq Barrett will happily take it because he is nothing if not opportunistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gus is just jogging there. He's clearly not into what he's supposed to be doing protection wise. There's another Andrew shot over the middle. Not surprising.
You can tell his knee is getting bothered on every single touch.
I think that's right shoulder. You see how he's hanging his arm?
Well, he was grabbing at his knee when he came up. Unless it's just it's like an everything is hurt. Which
it could be an everything is hurt. Yeah. It could be all my organs moved about 2.5 centimeters.
All right, 3rd and 7. This is typically where the Bucs go into cover 3. Looks like they ran fire zone there, a 3-3 fire zone.
Oh, beautiful.
Yep. The thing with 3-3 fire zone is you can basically treat it like man coverage because nobody's going to have any help anywhere. So if you got one-on-one outside and they're running 5 at you, you know that you're going to have one-on-one and nobody's going to be buzzing underneath it. So you can just kind of let it go.
It's not even a great route, but it's a good, tough catch.
Yeah.
And he converts it past the sticks, which is what his job is. And they go right back to him.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, if you get annoyed by them sending 5, picking on the one-on-one out there when the DB's like 11 yards off is probably the best way to fix that.
Yeah, and the Bucs defense for the safeties has, well, it's not the safeties, it's the secondary in general, has a hole there.
Yeah.
Like 5-7 yards, they'll play you tough. Like they have tough physical corners and they will pull the corners up, but the safeties don't come over the top and they leave that gap there on most plays.
Get there.
Now they will tighten it up occasionally. Oh, he got it.
Oh, I'll tell you what, if they didn't have Devin White running 4-4, that would have gone for a lot more, though.
Yeah, and we've seen that for most of the teams in the AFC North. I realize that Tampa's not in the AFC Central or North anymore, but like because they have to play Lamar twice a year, they've needed somebody, right? And different teams have approached it different ways, but they've needed somebody who can run with him. And nobody can really run with him, but you need somebody that on, I'd say 30% of plays, you can just shadow him and say, look, your job is dedicated as corralling him into somebody else, like, because that's what you can get done. And all teams have picked a guy like that.
It's one of those things where it's like, we know we're going to lose. We just need to lose less.
Right. Or lose in a certain way, or, yeah. So really interested to see a guy that we saw close, James Prochet, come into the game, because I think, much like Darden on the side, I think Prochet is underused. Well, I know he's underused because he's in the Ravens offense, but he's a talented little route runner. He's a really good player.
Oh,
a little more Gus.
Kick to the nuts. Ronnie Stanley just got.
What is it with kick to the nuts all of a sudden? And I was reminded, speaking of kicks to the nuts, because the most high-profile one was Mac Jones kicking Jaquan Brisker on a slide, which looked pretty purposeful.
That wasn't even the first time he did it, by the way, that game. That was the second time he did it that game.
I was willing to cut him a little slack until somebody reminded me of him alligator rolling Brian Burns after the sack last year, where he grabbed his ankle and twisted him. I remembered that. I got really hot about that all over again. I got emotional about that all over again. I was like, oh, yeah, that was so dirty. Okay, one time is one time. 2 times is starting to be a pattern. And as you said, it wasn't even the first time he did in that game. Like, that's the way you're going to get a reputation as a dirty player. And as a quarterback, you can't afford that because defense isn't going to pull up. They'll take the flag, but they're gonna level you if you pull that chippy BS.
Well, that's what I was wondering. It's like, was he just trying to bait out a flag from a late hit or by pissing people off? Like, I was like, what is the end game here? Because it sounds like the end game is you getting blown the fuck up. Like,
yeah, what do you really hope to achieve?
And I just love that Brisker picked them off like 2 plays later. That was great. Pass interference on the offense. Interesting.
Yeah, mama, don't let your kids to be single sports. Because Jaquan Brisker was a hooper, and you could tell.
Yeah.
Like, that was a basketball play. Like, that was a pure basketball play. All right, Brochet.
Trying to see what the call was.
I pulled a penalty. Really? They called him for...
They called OPI on that?
I don't know. They must have called him for the hook in the beginning because he didn't touch him in the back. I was looking for the block in the back, but like that little hook with his right arm. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that.
I've seen a lot worse lately.
Cam for $5. Ravens fan here. Is this the part where I start drinking? Buddy, after this season, you should have been drinking at the start of this game.
I was going to say start?
Yeah.
Like, what is this?
You should have been already deep into it, man. I don't know how you survived the last few weeks without doing it.
By the way, we're going to... Tacoma aroma coming at your head. Not here. It's not. I'm all the way across the country. And we should take a moment, check in with our host. Chris, what are you drinking?
Got a Montucky?
No, bourbon, honey syrup, ginger syrup, Drambuie.
Oh, you have infected him. Bourbon, honey syrup, ginger syrup, and Drambuie.
Actually sounds delightful. Not going to lie.
And lemon juice.
Oh, and lemon. He's got a little bit of lemon. He's got some lemon rind.
That sounds wonderful. Well, he sent me a video that he made some chestnut syrup, and I really want to get an old fashioned with some of that chestnut syrup if I can while I'm out there.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. Tyler says Tacoma pop off. We out on the block at Tacoma represent. That's right. E-Town, just down the road from me. Fantastic. Yeah, the ball flight did look all true. It's a little bit weird that ESPN came out and said, no, don't look here. Our camera did not alter the flight of the ball, when you can clearly see the ball changing flight when it hits the cable. So it's like, I don't know, take the red pill, or is it the blue pill? I can't remember which one.
That sounds like ESPN thought they were going to get in trouble for interfering with a ball and so they were trying to cover their ass by just saying it didn't happen.
We want Skycam to continue is what that should have said. Yeah. And maybe they just should have replaced it with Skynet.
Yeah, that thing hit that hit the wire. Like Oh, Lamar got out of it.
Ron says,
throw it away.
Throw it away.
Oh, he did. Throw it away. God damn, Lamar.
But he didn't get the line of scrimmage. Still gonna be a penalty. That's a sack. I mean, all that, and it's still a sack
because he didn't get out. He didn't get out of the pocket.
Take the sack, which I appreciate. I mean, he didn't get past the line of scrimmage.
I know, but
get that ball past the line of scrimmage.
Oh, I didn't see that it didn't go past the line.
No,
either way,
so he's going to get it anyway.
If he just threw it away in the beginning when he had time to set his feet, he would have actually had the distance on that.
I agree. Now, he's thinking it's tackle box, and he was out. Well, it's probably outside the tackle box. They're about to show you whether he was or wasn't.
Well, he barely was.
Yeah, he's outside. No, he's outside the tackle box, but it doesn't get past the line of scrimmage. It doesn't even get close, and there's no receiver there. So he's going to get dinged, and I'm not at all surprised he got the flag.
Still, though,
Round 13 says, "Oh, go ahead." No, go ahead. You're right. You have to throw that ball away earlier in the play.
When you have the time to set your feet, or not even set your feet, but like without throwing it off your back foot, and you got nothing down the field, like just fucking launch that thing. I don't know. He does that a lot. It annoys me.
Yeah, and Justin's guilty of it as well. Occasionally, Justin will get into it. Zach Wilson will get into it same way, where he starts pirouetting and doing all kinds of stuff, and it's like, Zach, just chuck it, and he won't. Andrews.
Yeah.
Headed to the locker room. No helmet in his hand. They didn't take his helmet, which is a good thing, but it's not a good thing that he's headed to the locker room.
Officially questionable with a shoulder. So he's got a knee and a shoulder now.
What did I tell you?
Well, he grabbed his knee when he first got up, and then he hung his arm. So I think it was both.
What did I tell you? Walking off the field, I said, looks like he's hanging his right side. It's not like I've done that before.
Multiple times.
Yeah. Round 13 says, if you're a dirty QB, players will 100% take the flag. You were correct, DJ. Yeah, it's true. They will gladly take the 15 yards.
2 drives ending 3rd and 22 and 3rd and 36. Well, if they would stop committing early down penalties and making it 1st and 20, they might actually be able to get going. Like this offense is not built to be behind the chains at all.
No, unless they're just going to unleash Lamar. That's the sort of chain breaker at that point. But in terms of pure from the pocket on time offense, no, it is not built to do that.
No, like their drop back passing game is the most simplistic. They're like, they show the stat of like 9% in 11 personnel. So even when they go into 11 personnel, they don't really have the deepest receiving core in terms of just pure wide receivers. Their best receiving talent on the team is Andrews, and he's now out, or at least in the locker room.
Yeah. And they don't even use all the talent they have. In other systems, I am confident that guys like James Prochet, Bateman, we talked about that at the top of the show, would be better utilized in a what I will call a pure passing game. Like Roman has a version of a passing game, but it is not a passing game designed with depth for the wide receivers where on any given play you can get to the third option and have a reasonable chance of success.
Yeah. Like even the Chiefs, their receiving core, say what you want about it, but at least they've got 3 guys that I'm willing to take a chance with.
Can I say what I want about the Chiefs?
Go for it. Whatever you want.
Anyways, it'll be fascinating to see how it works out. like to me. Again, if he balls out, if he looks like he did for that one game for the Giants, it'll seem like a steal.
Yeah.
If he like he did for all the other games for the Giants, it'll seem a little overpaid.
Just let me know when the
Like,
special
there's a lot
teams
of
for the Ravens is on.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
that's is that the like surrender cobra? Like
Yeah.
that's this from a Ravens fan. Come on. Just tell me my special teams is playing.
They're just here for Justin Tucker at this point.
Yeah, people are saying Prochet is literally the reason we were working from a 1st and 20. Did you see that penalty? You just stats batting like that.
So-
that penalty was pretty weak.
Apparently they call block in the back, but it wasn't a block in the back either. So
It was maybe 2-hand touch in the back, maybe. And again, didn't really offer the guy in terms of his ability to make the tackle. Like, yeah, officially you're correct. Any other way, like,
oh God. There's another.
I was gonna say, it's not like you have Mike Evans on your fantasy team, is it?
I mean,
Oh,
how many
goodness.
almost catches are we
Gonna
gonna
use my
have
own
with him?
personal replay.
Man, Mike, if you throw your hand up, you better fucking catch it. God.
Well,
Oh, it went right through his hands.
that got left a little bit short too. Like, I think,
dude,
look, I think Mike is a Hall of Fame wide receiver. I think he should have caught it. That's a caveat, but if you throw your hand up, you might. Whoa!
and now we're skipping
Brady
balls off
just
the ground.
Dirted a ball.
Yeah.
Like, that was worm burner. You don't see that very often from Tom Brady, and he had one last week too. That's 2 weeks where he basically short hopped a ball, and I don't know.
By the way, chat, is EJ cutting out for you guys too, or just for me?
Kill that.
I'm not sure if it's on my end or not. I just want chat to let me know.
I think it's on our end.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's on my end, but we're working through it.
No, I think it's on our end.
IKEA assembly update. I hate Sweden. Yeah.
Well, they're not neutral like Switzerland, so you can attack them.
EJ Mr. Roboto. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it's not just me.
Yeah. No, I do not believe it is you. I think we might be running too many streams here.
Oh, so we have to eliminate your replay?
We might have to eliminate my replay. I might have to go to second world status.
Oh, man. You're stressing Buffalo's infrastructure to its absolute max.
That's my whole purpose in being here. Mostly their food and beer infrastructure, but if I can get into their IT too, cool.
Brett, how are you replacing Chase? I assume you're talking about Jamar Chase. And the answer is you don't. Now, they still do have T. Higgins, and they still do have Tyler Boyd. So they got plenty of weapons, but you will never straight up replace Jamar Chase. Unless you have Stephon Diggs, Justin Jefferson, or Devontae Adams. Short of that, you're not replacing Jamar Chase. He's one of like the 5 best in the league. It ain't happening. Yeah, have you guys heard the Jamar news? Well, the last news I saw was that he's going to be out for 4 to 6 weeks. I'm assuming that's the most recent news and that it's not longer. But if they've updated it to be worse, please let me know. JJ for $5. Welcome back, JJ. While listening to you guys and watching this game, I'm building a cat tree that's 6'5". Ooh, that's a big one. Which is 4 inches away from being a foot taller than me. Oh, man. So, break out the step stool to put on that little top layer. Oh, man. That's a tall cat tree, though. Cats are going to be happy about that.
Oh, is this the IKEA piece?
Yeah, different construction. Oh, man. They're They're showing Tristan
Oh,
Wirfs and
what
Tyler
did he catch?
Linderbaum wrestling against each other. I forgot this was the Iowa Wrestling Bowl.
Yeah. The Iowa Wrestling Rematch Bowl. There's
Yeah,
James Daniels too. Or no, that's Wirfs.
yeah.
James Daniels is on that line too, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that was when Linderbaum was a freshman, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Brett, you've got a question about Pacheco and the Chiefs starting him over Clyde. Meanwhile, we get to see the swing game from the Ravens. Got out of bounds. Saved some time.
Where's the Brett? What do you think of Pacheco and the Chiefs starting him over Clyde? I think they kind of have pretty different styles, and I think what Andy likes about Pacheco is just the sheer physicality with which he runs with. Like, he doesn't really dance at all. He is a no nonsense type of runner, and he just gets downhill. And I think Andy really likes that about him. Where come hell or high water, he's going to get you 3 yards. And I think as long as you're just moving forward, you can trust Pat to get the rest. Whereas Clyde does tend to dance a little bit and, try to do the whole smoke through a keyhole type thing. I think he just likes the Pacheco's like, fuck it, I'm getting downhill. For better or worse, I'm getting downhill.
Oh, my God. I haven't heard that one in forever. Smoke through a keyhole. That's great. Isaiah Likely just made a play. Not surprising, is really their essentially third receiver in this offense.
Well,
picked up the first down.
Should be.
Got a little bit chippy at the end with the Buccaneer trying to hold him up.
Should be the third receiver in this offense. I wish they would get him more involved.
Some weeks they have.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, there's that shot play down the boundary I was talking about that's not really Lamar's bread and butter.
And I feel like this offense it's like doing something you're rusty at, right?
Yeah.
Some offenses take 2 of those shots a quarter. Not necessarily all to the same guy, but they'll take 2 of those sort of shot plays a quarter. And Zion, that's what they got him for. He is big and he is really fast. Like, he runs like a 4.3 and he's like 6'1".
Yeah. And if
like
you just put 6'5" Zion that runs 4.3 and the boundary on the other side, it's a really tough window to hit.
Yeah. Oh, nice. They figured out another way to do it. I love that.
Demarcus Robinson having himself a game.
Yeah, he's having himself a half. How about that? I mean, it's almost something you can never say about Demarcus Robinson. He might have a game, but he very, very rarely stacks it all up in a half. He's made 3 big plays.
Another one.
Oh.
What was that, like a 7th catch?
Yeah. And now the Ravens are just going pure, like, air raid distribution ball. And it's kind of fun to see because we never see it. They're just lining up 4 or 5 wide and whipping it. And Lamar can do this. He did it in college, right? Ran Earhart Perkins at Louisville, and he would run this offense to a T.
Yeah.
He got to the NFL, and he hasn't had a chance to do it very often. So it's pretty cool, even in these really limited segments, to just see him stand back, read, and chuck it out of the shotgun. Like, that's all this is.
All right, down in the red zone. Throw the rail? No? Okay. Man, don't wait 4.5 seconds to make a decision, man. If it's not there, just go.
Better than 7.5.
Yeah. Sergeant Pepper, a.k.a. you, for $10. Thank you, Pep. Hey, Brett, me and my dad are doing our annual Buffalo trip and would love to say hi, both of you, / buy you some Duff wings if possible. Don't have Twitter. Is there a good email to reach out to? Yeah, let me throw it in chat for you right now. We'll set that up. We'll say hi. I assume you're going to the game, right? Because we'll be tailgating, God, for like 8 hours or something at the game, I think. If you guys are planning on going.
We'll be at the tailgate by about noon on Sunday, and we won't be breaking down to get out of there until 7:30. So we'll be there for a while. Yeah. If you want to come by and see us, check out the podcast this week.
Lamar. Gotta hit that. Yeah, he knows that's his bad.
Yeah. Pat the chest. That one's on me. He's made a bunch of good throws this drive. That one was obviously not great, but he's he can be a straight up passing distributor if you need him to be. Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah. Sabres Saturday, Bills Sunday, Sabres Monday. That's a trip.
All right, I can see why you guys do a Buffalo weekend every year because you need it.
There you go.
God, man, what's a weekend like that run you? It's 2 Sabres games and a big Bills game against Aaron Rodgers. That's a hell of a price
All
tag.
right. Yeah, unless you've got family connections for tickets, which is certainly possible. Am I still roboting? We are trying to.
Every now and then, yeah.
Okay.
Well, right now
All
you're
right,
fine, but
All right, we're still trying to troubleshoot audio video issues, but
I'm wondering if
All
it's if it's because like if I closed out on my other Google Meet with you, I'm wondering if that would help.
yeah, but then I couldn't see you. That would be no good.
That's true. EJ's been spoiled now that he has to see me while we talk. He can't just do only audio.
Yeah, when I started off before I met Brett, I did very few video podcasts, and he hadn't done a ton of like audio only podcasts, and we were audio only for the bootleg OGs out there. They remember that we were audio only for like 4.5, 5 months, almost 6 before we got onto YouTube, and I was really good at audio only podcasts. And now that I've been doing video for 2 straight years, when it's audio only, I struggle. I'm rusty.
Yeah, have to have human interaction without reading facial expressions. That's not possible.
It's weird. It's weird. I used to be so good at it. It's not a bootleg stream if there's not issues, Mike. Nailed it. Nailed it.
Oh man.
But it's issues, but it's also excuses. I do happen to be in somebody else's house on the East Coast, so we have a built-in game run
in
excuse.
a basement. In a basement.
That's true. It's true. In a basement.
It was very weird to see Brett has a face. Yeah, because I did.
You did hear that a lot when we started up.
I did the whole disembodied voice thing on Film Room for years.
Mm-hmm. For a long time.
Years.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember what my first on-camera video was. I can't remember at this point. It was a long time ago, but I remember my wife was the one who encouraged me to do that. She's like, you gotta get your face out there so that people stop confusing you and Sam Gold and Alex Rollins and Billy Stevens because everybody, all of our voices just blend together, and people are like, you did the video about the blah blah blah, and I'm like, oh, that wasn't me, that was me. So it's like, gotta get my face on there, so when I fuck up a take, at least people know that I was the one who fucked it up. Because believe me, I will fuck up takes. All right, back in the red zone here.
If there's one thing I'm good at, come on, Lamar, let it go. Oh,
again, we're like 6 inches off on a lot of these throws. It's very close.
I'm gonna give credit. I'm gonna give credit to the Bucs secondary on a bunch of these. They have played tough, and when the physical space compresses, when you get in the red zone, they're even tougher.
Yeah,
because they are very tough in the short area. And he's thinking about throwing that over the middle, and he just doesn't let it go because he's worried about the close, and rightfully so. He's right there. Yeah. So he came off that read, went to the back read, which was also very similar with a quarterback or corner and trail coverage. Like, those guys are big, physical, they're strong. They love to play one-on-one coverage when they get the chance. I'm going to just credit the Bucs defenders and say, hey, the guys on the other side get paid too.
And they're fucking gigantic. Well, it sucks they stalled out there.
Oh, there's a pass for you from Brady. What do you only need like 18 and a half more now?
No, more than that. I need like 30. But I really needed, what I needed was the Justin Tucker field goal there because I needed those points.
It's a little itchy about the 7.5. That's batted ball.
Yeah, it's close. It's close.
Hey, if Brady catches that, do you get a completion?
Oh, I'm just going off attempts. That still counts as an attempt. We're good. We're good.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, it's not completions, it's attempts.
Interesting. Oh, okay.
And I kind of picked that because the average number of attempts against the Ravens defense this year is like 38 per game. And I was like, Brady will probably do 40. Little did I know.
And the line was 36? So they had him like 2 below average?
It's 39 and a half. So there's like 2 above average.
They had him
is what
1
you need.
over average.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I was like, it
Yikes.
seems doable.
It seems doable. The things we talk ourselves into when making betting slips. I bet it'll happen. It seems doable.
Keep in mind the last stream with the Bears, the over-under for Fields attempts or completions was like 13 and a half. So stark difference between the Tampa and Chicago offenses, to say the least.
Do we really need to say that? Is that something that needs to be vocalized? I think folks, no matter their level of football acumen.
Oh, he catches that one?
Okay,
That's the one you catch?
Two things about that. Yeah, Mike Evans caught that in a crowd. Did you see the shot Brady took below the knees?
Yeah, he got crushed.
Yeah, they're going to show the Evans and not the Brady. Like, yeah, he's got a guy right in his face. Come on, Mike Evans is really good. Okay. Wasn't as terrible. And he let him go. All right. I feel better about that.
Hit the thigh
I just saw the
pad.
first part of that.
Not the worst. Not the worst.
Yeah.
All right. Just keep feeding me these attempts. I'll take it.
Yeah, you're gonna get a few in a 2-minute drive.
And just throw it away.
Smith. No, Donovan Smith again.
I just want that ball out of his hand, man.
Yeah, that's Donovan Smith is not a guy that typically struggles in pass pro. And last week again, he had some very notable struggles. It wasn't just against Brian Burns, but most notably the worst one was against Brian Burns, not surprisingly. And here he is again, first half. And look, another, yes, veteran, but top flight pass rusher, giving him fits.
Was this an F1 Lightning commercial? God, these look so slick. Oh no, it's the electric Sierra. That's what it was.
Yeah, it's the big GMC, the EV Denali.
They do look nice though. When EVs first started coming out, I wasn't sure how I was gonna feel about cars without grills because I'm just like trained to really nice like things that just look like they suck out every molecule of oxygen. But man, some of the
Raven's coming.
Ooh.
Raven's coming.
But some of the you look at the Rivian, you look at the Lightning, you look at the Sierra, like cars without grills, they've done a good job of aesthetically still making them look mean.
Yeah, the Rivian's great. So Ravens run an overload here, and this is one of the things the Ravens defense does on the regular. They did it last week as well. They just bring it. Here they play zone behind it, which is really interesting because a lot of times teams will run man because they want press and they want just to basically smash receivers until the blitz can get home. Here they combine it. It's a zone blitz. Overload on the right side. Tampa stacks up initially, but can't hold. There's just too many bodies. And get the second sack of Brady in the same series. Ravens will make that gamble multiple times per game. Like Mike McDonald is going to call straight up blitzes, whether they're back by man or zone, a few times because he likes to gamble. He likes that. He likes their chances because of the athletes they have on defense.
And if you look at the end zone angle of that play, it kind of looked like Brady had the crosser coming open, and he just didn't see it because he was too busy running for his life. But I think if he had half another tick, he would have been able to hit that for not just a first down, but a lot more than that.
Oh, the tickler for next week's game, Eagles, Texans. That's going to be fun.
Unironically, yes, it will be. I think it actually will be. Now, if Brandon Cooks gets traded, they'll probably get the doors blown off of him. Well, I mean, they'll probably still get the doors blown off of it anyway, but
Is that what determines whether or not they get the doors blown off?
yeah,
Kind
it'll
of feels
be
like that'll happen either way, but there's some
worse.
really
It'll be
interesting
worse.
play. Yes, I would agree. There's going to be interesting play and interesting players on both sides of that game. Like under the radar, I think that's going to be a fun game.
Yeah,
Might not be an even game, but I bet it's
No.
going to be fun.
Texans will not win that game, but
They shouldn't.
Davis Mills is fascinating to me because when Davis Mills is on, like, he will tear people to shreds in ways that don't make fucking sense. Like, he will make incredible throws, be super decisive, balls out before you can even touch him. Like, he'll just go on these runs, like drive to drive, week to week, where he looks amazing. And then he'll throw like the most boneheaded pick ever. But I genuinely enjoy watching some Texans games when Davis Mills is on because from an aesthetics perspective, like, he throws a gorgeous deep ball when he's feeling himself. So if he's having one of those games next week, I think it could be fun. This is me trying to sell a Super Bowl contender against a bottom tier team, EJ. Like, this is pure salesmanship here.
I'm not laughing about that.
What are you laughing about?
I'm laughing because I'm 12.
What?
Because Davis Mills can really do some things when he's feeling himself. Okay.
Just saying.
I'm not arguing, but I'm also not going to validate that one.
Says the guy who's like, oh, the Ravens are coming hard up the middle.
Like I said, I'm 12. All right.
I got a flag here. Personal foul, face mask on defense. All right. Ravens are moving.
There's a question in chat about who is going to play corner for the Ravens with all the guys he listed out. The answer is you probably ain't going to like it.
What an interesting way to get a face mask penalty. You don't see that on edge rushers too often.
Occasionally, but typically not. Both offensive line and defensive line players are really skilled with their hand placements. Occasionally, you do see that hand shoved up under the face mask, and it usually gets called. Great ball.
There's your Prochet play.
Yeah. And, it was a little high. Prochet is not the tallest receiver, but went up and got it. That was obviously in no way out of his reach. Like, they spike it, 8 seconds. Yeah.
Bring out Jay Tuck. Give it to me.
No secondary motivation there. Just I
70 yards pregame. And normally I would say, oh, that's fluff, but not for him. I mean, fucking hell, look at that stroke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I set that one up for you. I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist.
I know. It's like BP at this point. It's just no. All right. They're going to take one shot.
I was going to say, like, you got one play. And then...
Yeah, it had to be a little bit more than that. They were just trying to get a little bit closer for Tuck. Not that he necessarily needs it. We're going to see it now.
Rumors of Avery Williams getting reps back at CB. Well, that's not something you want. Sorry, continue.
No. This is going to be Justin Tucker at full go. Like, 61 yards, I'll give you 80-20. He drills it.
Yeah. This is nothing for him.
Yeah. I give you 80-20. He drills it. There's not very much wind.
Oh, it got blocked. That doesn't count. Doesn't count. Not on Justin Tucker. That doesn't count. Not his fault. Not his fault. Somebody coming off the edge. I didn't see.
Well, I mean, it's bound to happen on long field goal tries because they have to keep it at a lower trajectory. So let's see. Does he get it?
Yeah, no, they definitely got a hand on it, but I couldn't tell who.
Oh, for sure, but it was pretty damn low. That ball they didn't have to work very hard. That was not the full fingertip extension of some guy that's like 6'8". Like that ball almost hit somebody in the armpits.
That definitely would have gone in if it didn't get tipped, though. 100%. So, Prize Picks,
That
if you're
shot would've-
watching, give me the points anyway, because that wasn't Tucker's fault.
Right. If he was kicking that in practice against air, it totally would have counted for nothing.
Now, I don't want to Coleman curse myself, EJ, but we went an entire
Yeah,
first half with no bots. So whatever YouTube did, it's working.
You had to. You had to. You just had to. Oh, my goodness.
I traded Tyler Boyd, Kareem Hunt, and Khalil Herbert to get Stephon Diggs. Thoughts on the trade? They needed running backs. I don't hate it because the main values of Hunt and Herbert's really only going to get work either if Montgomery goes down, at which point he's an automatic top 10 running back, or in games like against the Patriots where they have a really, really good day and just split carries and, Khalil breaks off a long run. Or in that case, catches a screen for a touchdown. Like, he can still have his big days as the number 2 running back, but it's not something you can rely on as much. So you're trading away, premium handcuffs to get a absolutely every week top 5 starter whose bye week is already over, so you don't need to worry about the bye week anymore. I would usually lean towards the side of whoever gets the stud wins the trade. You got the stud, so I'd say you won the trade. The only way you lose the trade is if Montgomery gets hurt again or Chubb gets hurt, and then all of a sudden those running backs turn into top 10 guys. But at that point, you're banking on somebody else getting injured, which, you don't really want to do that. So you won.
That's great. Long story.
I mean, if you get Stephon Diggs in a trade, like, it's pretty hard for me to say you lost. Like, it's very hard to lose a trade like that.
Yeah, if you're picking up one of the top 5 to 7 receivers in the NFL, and he also happens to play with a super weapon at quarterback, it's hard to.
And you already got through.
It's hard
the
to
bye
say
week.
it's hard to say a bad thing about that. By the way, did I send you the picture of the apple cider fry cakes?
Yeah, where'd you get those?
Weggies. Like, I didn't stop at some farm stand. Like, they were literally just on the bakery table at Wegmans, and I was like, oh, these look good.
I'm getting those tomorrow because those look ridiculous.
I have extras, so when you show up, like, I'm not eating all those. I will gladly give you one because they are magical, and yes, I'm sure they sprinkled something illegal on the outside of them to make them even better. But honest to God, just walking through the aisles at Wegmans, if you're not familiar, Wegmans, a Northeast grocery chain, fantastic store. We do not have them out in the Northwest. And just walking through Wegmans, I was like, oh my God, if I lived here, I would weigh 400 pounds. Like, all of this food looks amazing, from the cheeses to the meat section, hot food aisle, you name it. The beer aisle at Wegmans was a religious experience. Unbelievable. So, and just grabbing a little gravity, another local beverage distribution train picked up on it and was like, well, if you like their beer, you should come by our place. And I was like, well, I think I will. And they were like, we have 19 Western New York locations. Please ask if you have any questions. I was like, look at that. I've been here half a day and I'm getting recruited.
Okay, well, we got to take a field trip when I get out there tomorrow then.
Oh, no. There's one right down the road. We went by it on where we came back from getting dinner. So, it's great. And then I was maybe 2 blocks away from Chris's place and went by a big liquor supply place. And I was like, I'm gonna bet he's been in there, and then that's just easy money. It's like the free spot on the square you get from Prize Picks. Has Chris been to this liquor store? Oh yeah, he's been to this liquor store for sure.
Chat, for our second half slip that I'm going to be filling out here, are we feeling Lamar over 108.5 and Brady under 130.5? That's how I'm kind of feeling. I would love to hear your guys' opinion. I'll probably just do a $20 slip on it. But that's what I'm kind of thinking here is Lamar over 108.5 because I think they're just going to have to fucking throw and throw and throw. And then
Are they going to go? If you think they're going to go air raid like they did at the end of the first half?
they're not moving the ball any other way. And Tom, yeah, I'm just going to do that. And Tom, or the Bucs are running the ball so well. I just don't think Tom's going to have to throw that as much as maybe. This is kind of a hedge, honestly. For my first.
Well, you do this. You play your second half slip against your first half slip, and then you win one of them.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like I'm just gonna hedge this because this game's going a little bit differently than I expected. It's still an entertaining game, but it's definitely going different than I thought it would.
Yeah, there's less scoring in this game for sure than I thought there would be. I mean, if you told me 13, if you gave me over under for 13 total first half points, I would have been like, over.
Yeah,
for sure. But nope, that's what we got.
So I need to get both correct for this one, and that'll pay me 60, which means even if I lose on this one, I'll still end up positive for the day. So
I think that's a fair way to do it.
Yeah, that's what I kind of like about the second half slips is like if I completely screw the first half slip up, if I can just get a good sense of how the game's going, I can at least cover my losses in the second half and end up positive. So, and if I hit just 3 of these, then if I hit 3 of these and hit the second half slip, then I end up positive like $80 for the day, which, I'll take that.
Yeah, for sure. And again, the time when you really pay off those first half slips is usually the last 4 minutes
I know.
of the game.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to do something. You need, a bunch of receiving yards from a back or something, and they've only gotten 15, and you need 38. And then there's 2 pops to those guys on wheel routes, and boom, there goes your slip.
So we'll see how I do. I'm feeling somewhat, I would feel great about it if they went for it with Tucker on that other opportunity, and then if that one didn't get blocked, that would have already hit on Tucker. I'm not feeling super confident about him getting 5 points in the second half, but we'll see.
Yeah, I would have liked one more kick to go through the uprights for him, whether it was a field goal or an extra point in the first half, if I was going to feel better about you hitting that one overall for the game. Now, it's totally possible, but okay, that might be the current super chat might be one of my favorite tags ever.
Icelandic fart police. What the fuck?
I don't know what it means, but
you just throw that into a name generator.
It's got a ring to it. I got to give him credit. Him or her. Hey guys, got promoted at work and can support the pod more now. Thank you very much, and congratulations.
Congrats on the promotion. Yeah.
Yeah. What Broncos trade pieces go where and when? Can we trade their head coach? Is that possible?
Yeah.
And when they lose to the Jags, is Coach Hackett allowed on the plane back to the States? Well, that, my joke about whether or not we can include their coach in trade packages leads to your second point of let's just say that institutional confidence around the Broncos in Coach Hackett is not super strong. It is very rare to dump a first-year head coach halfway through a year. I think we're moving in that direction. Coaches are certainly getting canned more quickly than they used to. The idea of sunk cost has sort of caught up in the NFL, that throwing, bad money over good is not the greatest idea. I still think that would be an incredibly short leash, and that's quite frankly terrible for the Broncos, unless he shows a lot more than he has so far. And in a different situation, Eberflus in Chicago and his staff was not doing great. They were not doing anywhere near as poorly as Coach Hackett is with his staff right now, but they showed a tremendous ability on their little mini bye. They had a 10-day break because of a Thursday night to Monday night game, to really sit down and be super honest about what wasn't working and change most of it on in all three phases, because they were struggling in all three phases, offense, defense, and special teams. They don't win that Patriots game if they don't do that and execute, of course. But if they didn't have the honesty to sit down and not just sort of double down like the old staff in Chicago did, which was like, no, we just need to execute better. We're going to keep doing the same things. That was the answer previously. Eberflus, Poles, all the coaches sat down with every player, met with every player in the 10 days off and said, this is what we need to do better, and this is what you need to do better if we're going to win.
What
and it
the
worked.
fuck? Did Grassi just raid us?
Kind of looks like that.
What the fucking hell?
I
Oh,
suddenly
the
have a
Grassi
hankering for a
posse
really good
has
piece of cheese.
arrived. Oh my god.
How many of them are there? How many concurrent?
A lot. A lot.
Well, that's cool.
Hello, Grassi
Hi,
posse.
Tom.
We love to see it.
That's amazing.
I promise to only talk a little bit of shit on the Packers. Especially, oh, by the way, Tom, if you're still here, I'm going to the Packers game this weekend, and I'm doing a Packers episode about why they're terrible. And so I'm doing you a favor, and I'm reverse cursing them and trying to make them not terrible. So you're welcome. I'm doing this for you, bud.
Are you charging for that service now? I will reverse Coleman curse you for only $99.95. Like, is that a thing?
I'm trying
Because
to
if
get
it isn't, it should be.
I'm trying to get a piece of stock in the team. I'm hoping to curry favor here.
You know,
Oh
there's a
my
way
God.
you can do that.
Oh my God, this is amazing. I've never seen
I
so
was
many
gonna
Packers
say-
fans in one place.
Well, I have, and I'd rather see him this way.
Oh man. Super chat here. As a Panthers fan, coaches aren't fired fast enough. Every week Dable puts out a miracle win is a week closer to my demise. I don't think Dable was going to Carolina because I think Dable wanted a situation where he could rebuild the roster in his image. And I think the Giants, they had to do a lot of cap fuckery that we went over in the offseason in terms of how they structured all their deals. Like, this was supposed to be the year where they kind of ate it a little bit, and then they created a whole bunch of space for next year. I think he wanted to go to that type of situation, similar to the Bears, where it's like, hey, we're going to have one bad year. We'll get some culture wins. We'll build positivity in the building, and then we'll get a whole bunch of money and build this thing out. I think he wanted that kind of situation, which New York provided. What we didn't anticipate was that they would just skip the rebuild year and start winning. And I think that's a credit to him as a coach. Not that I want to remind all the Packers fans in here about that, but
yeah, him and his ability, and also the staff he assembled. We talked about that in the offseason divisional preview episode of the Giants. And when Dable got hired, there's always that, okay, who's he bringing with? Who's he going to get to run, quarterbacks? Who's he going to get to run the offense? Who's he going to get to run the defense? And every time another name came out of New York, it was like, damn. And then we went back and looked at them, and that's the great strength of those episodes, to be able to go back and say, okay, now that all the dust has settled, holy cow, look at that staff. Like, that is a really good group of coaches that has a chance. And again, it's been even faster than that.
mm-hmm.
They've achieved heights and wins even more quickly than we might have guessed with that great assemblage of coaching talent. So real sort of double credit to Dable and his staff. And Mike Kafka's done an amazing job with the offense there too. And they're all doing it together. They're not particularly siloed, but it's really impressive. And anybody who had the Giants at 6-1 preseason, stand up now, because you're lying. Like,
oh, did you see what their Super Bowl odds were before the season? It was
astronomical.
It's like 6,000 or like plus 6,000 or something like that. Like, it was insane.
No, it was no chance in hell, is what basically Vegas is saying. And Vegas is really good at what it does. That's why it's Vegas. So it's still, even if we said glowing things about them and expected a decent turnaround with some of the talent they had on that roster, what they've been able to achieve is ridiculous.
What is that, like 4 Mike Evans drops today so far? I'm dying here,
You
EJ.
said something about needing Mike Evans to do well for you, and the thing that happened, and
Oh my
and
God.
yeah.
This is one of the worst stretches I've seen Mike have in
He does
ever.
not. To your point, he does not have the doldrums. He occasionally will have a drop. He will occasionally have a bad quarter, but he doesn't have bad halves. He doesn't have bad games, and he certainly doesn't stack bad weeks.
Yeah.
Like almost ever. If you look back through all the games he's played, and it's a lot now, he's one of those guys that just does not lose time over time. Tom Brady running away? No.
Running away is a way to characterize it, I guess.
Running is doing a lot of work in that sentence.
Yeah.
But well, I gotta say thanks to all the Crossy folks for showing up, because that was just freaking cool.
Culper Anon says, Packers fan, but I'm pro bench Rodgers. Buddy, I'm telling you right now, you don't want to see Jordan Love out there.
It ain't the thing.
That ain't what you want, man. That ain't what you want.
It ain't the thing. I know it's what you think you want. It's not what you really want.
No. It's hard out here, man. You don't want to be out here.
These streets are cold without a quarterback. Hey, we are officially into the second half. And since I'm in the Rockpile Studios, I feel I need to have a little bit of an homage to our host. So I think it's second half beer time, and there's really only one choice for that.
Get the Montucky cold snacks. Is that what we're doing? There you go.
Is that the Montucky music? That is the Montucky music. Now, they have the regular horse can available to them. You can sort of see that. Where I am, you can actually get a Unicorn Pegasus can, which they're incredibly jealous of.
Did I tell you I went to the liquor store to try to find some because I knew you were going to break one out, and I couldn't find any?
Montucky, really?
Yeah, I couldn't find any.
Really? We'll have to talk to Montucky about that. Yeah. They're pretty well distributed now. For those of you that don't know, Montucky Cold Snacks originally started in Montana, hence the Montucky nickname. And one of the great things they do is give a percentage of all sales back to clean water initiatives, so they can keep making great beer with real mountain spring water. But it's just really good, sessionable game beer, film beer, or whatever you want. So here's the Montucky. Here's the Rock Pile. Here's to a good second half.
Okay, Lamar, break it.
Yep.
I need that
That's
60
the
yards.
play.
I need 60. Keep going.
You need 60. You might not get it all in this carry, Coleman.
I'll take it.
I'll
take what I can get. I'll take what I can get, EJ.
Yeah,
I'm a desperate man.
These are classic.
I'd have a beer.
I'd have a beer.
Oh my! There's no way that should have gone for 30 yards.
No, that run fit from the Bucs there wasn't necessarily Lamar magic. That was just the run fit from the Bucs being not 100% awesome.
When are people going to start acknowledging that Chris Jones is playing like a top 3 defensive player in the league right now? I don't know about top 3 defensive player overall. Definitely top 3 interior defensive linemen, because Chris Jones, Quinnen Williams, and AD are all themselves. They're all great. But when you throw in edge rushers too, like there's Micah, the corner, like some of the young corners, like we got 2 rookie corners that are legitimately playing at a top 5 corner level right now in Sauce Gardner and Tariq Woolen. So there's a lot of really good defensive players this year. Chris Jones, definitely top 10, and I would say top 3 interior defensive linemen. Top 3 overall, tougher for me to do right now. But he's in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year, that's for sure.
Oh, okay. That's a super fun play. I give Greg Roman a lot of crap. I really like that run design. It doesn't look like a lot, but that's fun.
Couldn't tell if it was a little toss. I didn't see it. Oh, they're showing the shoulder injury from Andrews now.
Yeah. It doink. Yep, right on it. Right on the end of the AC.
Yeah.
Not fun.
Not
fun at all.
He's going to have a hell of a time trying to put on a jacket tomorrow. Go, Gus.
Another one. They ran the same thing.
So this is the first time.
Different set.
That was the first time they've run outside zone, which outside zone was what Tampa was having so many issues with last week against Carolina. That was the first time they ran outside zone and they got
And
10
look
yards
at
out
the
of it.
hole. He's got to beat one tackle. He's got to beat 22's tackle, and that's it.
Keep going. Keep calling it. Call outside zone until they prove they can't stop it. Like that should be the game plan for
Well,
the
that's how
second half.
Carolina closed them out. Is as soon as they figured out that they couldn't shut the edge off, they went to it, and then they faked it on some big pass plays because Tampa started to. It's like made you flinch. Outside zone, right? And they're like, oh, and then they got big PA off it. So,
All I could think of was the Panthers going, "Stop hitting yourself! Stop hitting yourself!"
Well, you said we'd pick up some culture wins, and all I could see was Brian Dable doing a spot for the NFL. Pour la culture.
Did you see him signing autographs with Giants fans after the game with a big old fucking cigar in his mouth, just walking around king shit? Yeah, I love Brian Dable, man.
He's crushing right now. New York loves a winner. Like New York City loves a winner. And right now that team is on top of the world, and nobody thought they were going to be there. So that just pumps it up even more. I can't get enough of that storyline. Football I think is better when the Giants are good. It's one of major market teams, and they weren't supposed to be good, and they're really good early. It's just good.
Can I get some motherfucking Dexter Lawrence love in the chat?
Yes,
Dexter
you
Lawrence
can.
has been phenomenal this year.
Yes, you can.
He's playing like we thought he was going to be when he came out in the draft, which was immovable, impossibly powerful, disruptive presence. He's been fantastic this year.
Yeah, he's been dominating and not getting the press. I'm glad you brought him up. It's good to be able to give him a shout out. My wife's watching. She says, just sitting down to dinner. Dogs are wrestling and say hi. I forget that it's 3 hours later. So, 3 hours early.
Oh, yeah, it's 10 o'clock for you.
Later there, 3 hours later here. So, yeah, I'm sitting down to dinner. Feels late here, I'll tell you that. This whole East Coast thing where we're just past halftime and it's 10 o'clock. And you're like, that's interesting. Yeah. We're going to get to do it again on Sunday. So
how are the leaves, by the way?
They're pretty good. They did have cold snap. Like I said, it was in the high 30s, early 40s when we went up this morning. So it's already kind of snapped. They're falling. It's the tail end, but there's plenty. I think I sent you some pictures today. Okay. I took my host's dog for a walk and got some nice pictures. She lives near a walking trail that leads to like a golf course, and yeah, you're gonna get some color. There's plenty. It's not all on the ground yet
because we don't have that in California, so I would very much like to see it.
If you see that color, unfortunately, it's coming from fire.
Yeah,
which is bad.
Hey, for the first time in a while, I didn't wake up to a giant plume of smoke outside my window this October.
Coleman,
so,
curse is dangerous. Don't do it with natural phenomena. Football's fine. Don't do that.
We burned so much recently. There's nothing left to burn around me, EJ.
When I say don't, I mean don't. I don't mean keep going a little bit. I mean stop then.
Dev Duve. All right.
He gets yards. Did we forget about Cam Hayward and Minka? No, we've been singing Minka's praises all season. He's been incredible. And Cam Hayward, 2 weeks ago on the pod, we spent a couple minutes talking about, even for his standards, he had an amazing game. And his standards are extremely high. So, no, we didn't forget about those guys.
No, I mean, Tampa wouldn't, or the Steelers would not have beaten Tampa without Cam Hayward taking that game over. He was fantastic.
Yeah. And Steel Bar for $5. Thank you very much. Before I forget, as a Colts fan, what info, if any, do you have on Sam Ehlinger? Would like to have the slightest bit of hope in the offense. I don't think the offense is going to go downhill because Matt Ryan, with the exception of one golden week, has been pretty abysmal. I think the line reflects that. The points drop wasn't huge going from Ryan to Ehlinger, which seems nuts. Ehlinger is he's not quite Taysom Hill, but he has a power run element to his game. I think he's a little bit more of a passer than Taysom, but Taysom's really gotten better as a passer. So the offense is going to have to change. They can't run the offense they were running with Matt Ryan with Ellinger. Is it huge amount of hope? Oh, nice. Is that? Oh, they hit Dev Doob again. They're leaning on Dev Doob down in the red zone. That's nice.
I would say
So
if preseason is anything to go by, it's an upgrade because Ellinger was awesome in the preseason, but also it's preseason, you know.
look
So
at that
it's
dart
it's
from
tough
Lamar.
to know exactly how much of that is going to translate, but in terms of the stuff that theoretically should translate, you know, ball placement, pocket movement, sensing pressure, all that kind of stuff. Like he was really good in the preseason at that type of stuff.
Oh,
And I think
oh,
there we go, touchdown, Kenyon Drake. I share a similar position to EJ where I'm like, well, it can't be worse. So
it'll be different though. It has to be different. And if it's different, it might even be better, but it can't be the same. They can't just plug. This is not like a take the bad fuse out and put the new fuse in and just keep everything else the same. If they do that, it's going to be terrible because Ellinger can't execute those concepts
yeah,
as well, even though Ryan wasn't executing them well. I know that sounds like a conflict, but it's not. They need to put, honestly, they'd be really smart to look at a little bit of the Ravens offense, which is what the Bears copied versus the Patriots. We got asked about the Patriots top of the show and how the Bears beating them. Like Justin Fields said, we pulled stuff from the Ravens playbook, like directly. And honestly, the Colts should pull a few too, because while Ellinger's not that gifted a runner, he does have a knack for picking up yards with his legs, and he's a tough dude. That's one piece of bait I'll give you on him. He is, yeah, he is very resilient. So running him a little bit's not going to be the worst thing.
so I need one more field goal from Tucker and then one more extra point from Tucker, and I hit on that one. For some reason, they're not loading the points on
How
that.
close
But
did you get? How close did you get with Gus?
I need 7 more yards from Gus, which I'm gonna get.
Oh, come on.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
get.
that's a decent run up the middle. Like, I'm okay with that.
And he started this half, I think, with like, well, no, started the second quarter with -1, and now we're 7 away. And then Lamar, I need, what is that, 35 more yards, which is not entirely implausible. Tom is at
No,
18,
good ones.
or no, 19. So I need another like 20 or 21 attempts from Tom, which now that it's a tie game, you know, maybe we go pedal to the metal here and I get that in a few drives. We'll see. Like, I'd say 5 out of 5 is still on the table. 4 out of 5 I feel comfortable with. But if Tom is throwing that much, I think my second half slip here is probably in the tank. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm feeling okay.
Yeah, great question in chat. If you had to rank Reich 1 to 32, where would he be?
In head coaches?
I believe so, because I'm like, if I'm ranking him as an OC, he'd actually be much higher than as a HC.
Well, that's an interesting thought experiment.
Isn't it?
So let me kind of go through here.
While you're thinking, I'm just going to say I love our bootleg fans. Our bootleggers are the best, man. I don't care whether you're listeners, viewers, question askers, super chat senders, like y'all are super fun. The engagement's amazing. It's great to be able to do this with you interactively, send out the podcast to you once a week, be supported by so many of you on Patreon. Like, you're a damn good audience. Give yourself a pat on the back.
He's not 32, because right now that's Hackett. He might, well, him or Lovey. I'd probably go Reich. So he's not 31. Him or Cliff. I might go Cliff.
For what? Better house?
That's a fair point. Ah, man. I
mean,
do-
better
I'm not
dresser.
even. I mean, Rule's already got fired, so he's better than Rule. I think.
Yeah, I mean, if you're starting preseason rankings. By the way, Rashad Bateman, foot injury, out the rest of the night.
Fucking hell. I would say he's like around 29 or 30 right now.
Right now, his star is definitely dimmed. Ooh, this is Rashad?
Yep. Oh God,
Nice
he took a
play.
huge hit.
He did. He got whacked right in the spine. Didn't seem to bother him. And Rashad White is going to make plays in the passing game. You're going to see some in the running game. He's got ability there, but he's dangerous in the passing game.
Yeah.
And we both said that in our pre-draft analysis that you really are getting a guy that's going to contribute in both phases. And yeah, he's fired up about that.
They're going back to him. Oh, he's looking
in the run
spry.
game.
He's looking spry.
Yeah. Really nice little slash for about 7 yards. Right up through the middle. Again, talked about the Ravens' struggles with middle linebacker. Patrick Queen has been, I'm just going to be kind, inconsistent at best.
Yeah.
And yeah, look at this. Look at this job from the line. Great job climbing to the second level, making a hole. Look at all that space he gets to get through. He doesn't even get contact till about 6 yards. That's really nice work by the line, by White. Like I don't want to call it free yardage because they worked hard for it, but
ooh,
yeah, that is really good.
Nice play by Klein.
Okay, so yeah, number 59, Klein. You can see the Q collar on him. It's a very thin piece of plastic with some padding on the inside. Goes around his neck for people that were asking questions about the Q collar earlier. Ooh, is Jones holding his head?
I can't tell.
Kind of looks like he might have got his bell rung a little bit. If I was the independent neurologist, well, I wouldn't be independent, but I might send myself over there.
All right, 3rd and 2. They're in the gun.
Yeah, this is a Brady quick hit. I'm going Evans on the slant.
I genuinely can't tell what that was supposed to be. It looked like Brady wanted him to settle in the seam, and he kept going on a 7. And he kind of started to break it out, and Brady wanted him to just settle it.
It almost looked like he went double move 7 with a stab step inside. He's talked to him right now. Look at him.
Yeah. Where it's like, hey, man, if they give you the space, just sit there. And I think you really thought he was going to sit.
3 pieces. I wrote this in my notes last week going over the Bucs-Panthers game. 3 pieces of miscommunication from Brady and his receivers in the same game. Now, that was what you saw in the first 6 weeks of his Tampa tenure. Mm-hmm. And that was expected. New offense. This was the whole, is it going to work with Arians? Can he fit? You remember that whole thing before they went on a terrible tear? Like, it was like, is this a mistake? It had almost the air of, not the same, but there was some of that Russell Wilson, like, oh my God, what did we do? We all thought this was the savior, and this looks terrible. It was natural offense fitting together. I don't want to say square peg, round hole. I want to say one guy that operated in an offense for a very long number of years came to a new offense, and there's going to be some of those. Hey, I thought, I said, you thought, you saw. Those site adjustment routes. That's very natural. And there was a bunch of those in the first 6 to 7 weeks. Made the Tampa natives very, very restless. Like, they were like, wait, what? Yeah. Not cool. Then it all cleaned up. Brady does what he did. Everything started to click. And since then, you don't see more than one of those a week, typically, if that. There are whole games where
until tonight,
he'll miss a throw. Well, no, last week. Last week, there were 3 in that game that looked like, again, kind of like, what? Like, who was wrong there? Like, was he expecting him to? And then you realize, like, oh, my God, it's Tampa. It's Tom. Like, that never happens. Like, especially at this point. That stuff's dialed. He's been in the system for a while now. He's running this. He's had, full off seasons with it. Like, that is not a typical thing for Tom Brady. And it started to creep back in last week. And like I said, he also dirted a ball last week, and very rarely do you see Tom Brady just flat out dirt a pass. And he did it last week. He did it again tonight. He had 2 or 3 miscommunications last week. He's had at least 2 tonight. It's odd. I'm just going to say it's odd. It bears watching because those incidence rates of things he never does are not never anymore. They're not zero.
JJ for $5. How would you feel about Reich working with Pickett in Pittsburgh as the OC? I would think it would be a massive upgrade over Canada. I think that Reich is a little bit, and it's been this way for a few years now. Things started out okay when he had Andrew Luck, but you know, and when he had Rivers, you know, a nice stable veteran, he was fine. Everything after that, I think head coach might have been a little bit. He feels like he's been a little bit over his skis since Rivers last year, and before that, you know, he had Luck, which Luck was amazing. So it's hard to look over your skis with that. But ever since then, when he hasn't had the advantage of having a plus starting quarterback, game management has not been good. Ooh, nice. Game management has not been good. There's been a lot of like discipline mistakes on that team. Like there's been some really ugly games where it's just penalties galore and mental mistakes galore, and like they've just sleepwalked into a lot of games. And you know, occasionally they'll find some way to ugly win against the Chiefs, but very rarely did we see them, again, since Rivers, very rarely did we see the Colts like put together a winning game plan against a very good opponent and from start to finish just fucking win the game. Not survive the game and somehow end up with a better score. I'm talking about win the game. Frank Reich hasn't done that very much the last few years, so I would like to see him as the offensive coordinator in Pittsburgh where his plate is not as full, because I think he's good in that role, but head coach, I have my doubts at this point.
You just got Gus yards, by the way.
Did I?
You did. And I was going to ask you a question. You ever seen a runner block two defenders?
What do you mean?
Dev Duve just did it. We'll talk about it in a second.
Okay.
Okay, so on that outside zone play when Duvernay got free,
yeah,
Gus was the blocker.
Oh, like they called a sweep and then used Gus as the lead.
Right.
Yeah.
So Gus had his guy, and there was a free guy because there's always a free guy on defense, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dev Duve ran him into the back of the guy that Gus was blocking on purpose. Little stutter, basically started towards the block, so he had to cut down. He basically stacked two guys on Gus and then went outside.
Patience
As a
and
runner,
vision.
Dev Duve just blocked two guys with basically one blocker. That was all Duvernay. Like, Gus was doing a good job blocking the first guy. Isaiah Likely.
Get off me, Isaiah Likely. Ooh.
Yeah.
All right, Ravens offense come alive here.
Yeah, all of a sudden they're playing with some fire, and it's really cool to see any runner. This happened to be Dev Duve, who's a wide receiver, but it's great to see running backs do that. What a absolute dart from Lamar over the middle.
Yeah, where was this the first 30 minutes of the game?
Not here. Oh. Did you see the snatch and trap off the right tackle?
Yeah.
Go try on Schwenka, ended up with,
got the
getting
sack
that
there
play,
too.
making that play. Yeah, no, it's a good play for him for sure. He's been super hot for weeks. He's been creating opportunities for other people even when he's not finishing his own. But the snatch and trap by the right tackle where he just buried the guy was, if you like offensive line play, check that play out on replay. That's good stuff.
It was Morgan Moses, right? He's their starting right tackle? I think he is. Off the top of my head. Pretty sure he is.
I got Ravens depth chart up.
Oh, there's Justice Hill. Great run.
Yeah, I was wondering where he was. He was incredibly quiet over the first half. I don't even think he had a carry, did he? Yes, Morgan Moses.
Ever since I think it was an Achilles injury or a broken ankle or something like that. He had it a couple years ago. It took him a while to come back from that.
Right, but he played a bunch last week, which is why I was like, huh.
Yeah, it was last week or the week before that where he had some really nice explosives. And then Kenyon Drake a few weeks ago too. He had like 8 carries, but all of them were like 15 yards or more.
Yeah,
it's a monster game. Yeah.
Uh-huh. No, Justice played a really nice sort of counterpoint role to Gus last week. And again, you'll see that in the NFL. It'll vary. They won't just hammer on the same game plan game to game. That makes good sense playing against a different team with different strengths. But I was surprised that I don't remember a Justice Hill touch in the first half. And I was like, was he on that inactive list I couldn't read?
Dude, Devin White is horrible. I don't know if I'd say horrible, but there are certain things he's really good at and certain things that he is not really good at. And he's, again, not horrible, but I would accept the term one-dimensional. I think that's a fair characterization.
That wasn't what they were hoping for.
No. Is that Raheem Nunez-Noches? I think so. Yeah. He's a monster, too, by the way. Does not get enough credit. Raheem's great.
Yeah. Yes, he is. No doubt about that.
Extremely powerful.
79. Who is 79?
Dead.
Yeah. Oh,
Nick Gamble for $2. Less carries today as punishment for his fumble.
Okay.
That would make sense.
That's a truism, and for a lot of coaches, take care of the rock, or I'm not going to give it to you.
Oh, nice little RPO.
Yeah, to who?
Robinson again.
Uh-huh.
Yep. That was interesting. You saw Lamar read it, saw that he had 3-on-3, pulled it, and he's like, I'm just going to attack where I got numbers.
That's funny.
Yeah, if you got 3-on-3 on the backside bubble, you should throw the bubble every single time. Great call.
Wow. You know, if you type in NFL schedule to Google, you can go in, click on the games, and click on the stats.
Yeah.
This game is currently listed as Ravens versus TBD, 10-0.
Has not been updated.
It's currently updating. It shows that it's currently updating. Like the quarter mark is correct, and all the Ravens stats are correct. There, Tampa just updated. Fun stuff.
I think that was the second time that Lamar's thrown a screen to Robinson when he had even numbers outside. Because why try to run into +1 in the box when you could just give it to Robinson and say go?
Demarcus Robinson, 6 catches for 64 yards, 10.7.
Yeah, very, very solid game for him.
Yeah, kind of out of nowhere, too. Is a guy that gets like
Lamar,
2 or 3.
Get rid of the ball.
He's got it.
Oh, there we go. Isaiah Likely, breakout game. Here we go.
That's touchdown. Isaiah Likely was sitting at 4 for 51 before that. 12.8 a reception. He adds a decent length reception plus a touchdown on that throw. Yeah, that's 10 yards.
Gorgeous ball from Lamar rolling to his right, though. This is the same ball that he missed earlier. This time, he was able to torque it a little bit more and get the elevation that he wanted.
And this is a very classic no, yes play.
Yeah.
We're sitting here going, get rid of it. Come on, get rid of it.
Nice job getting his feet
Beautiful
down,
footwork.
too.
Yeah, great footwork from Isaiah Likely. And there's our boy, Tyler Huntley, congratulating everybody on the sideline. How many teams want Tyler Huntley as their starting quarterback right now?
At least 5.
At least.
Because I wouldn't be surprised if... Well, I already have the teams up here. Okay, here's the thought. The Jets have Tyler Huntley on their roster right now. Are they starting him over Zach Wilson? Based on what we've seen from Zach since he came back.
I don't want to upset the Jets fans right now because they're on a freaking heater.
But I will give credit to Jets fans. They have been very realistic about how they've won games. And even they acknowledge it hasn't been because of Zach.
Oh, it's true. Like that I absolutely will give you. And now with the Breece Hall injury, yes, they went out and got a really good replacement in my mind, a much better replacement than I thought they could get, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
However, oh God, it's a very pretty play in the end. In the beginning, It's not pretty. Like a lot of quarterback coaches would not love that play, but they would love the finish, and that's what counts. So no, I think, but AVT being out, Elijah Vera Tucker, is something that maybe casual Jets fans won't appreciate, if there are such things as casual Jets fans. But that's a big deal. Again, we talked about it on the pod this week. Zach is going to have to play better. He was in our 3-down session. He needs to play better for this team to win down the road. He needs to play better. And, so would they take Huntley right now? Again, if Huntley was up to speed on the playbook and the whole bit, like, I think they would be having better results pretty consistently with Tyler Huntley. But honestly, I think there's a lot of teams right now that would take Tyler Huntley. He's shown the ability. So Indianapolis, Tyler Huntley or Ehlinger?
Huntley.
Huntley. Denver. Rippin or Ehlinger?
Ehlinger.
Sorry, Rippin or Ehlinger. My bad. Rippin or Huntley?
Oh, Huntley. Huntley.
Because we're talking about Huntley.
Yeah.
Huntley, right? 49ers.
Just because, so I would actually go Garoppolo, just because knowing that Shanahan's system, like, you got to be in it for a while to really be able to run it.
Saints.
Huntley.
Whatever they're throwing out, or Huntley. I would go with Huntley. Panthers. Now, if PJ Walker hadn't set the world on fire last week,
no, it's Huntley.
We would be saying Huntley, but PJ Walker, credit to him, highest ever quarterback rating for a Panthers quarterback.
It's still Huntley.
I understand.
Commanders, Huntley.
Falcons, I think, are actually with, they've got the Mariota combination with Desmond Ridder. Like, they've got what you want. They've got a veteran playing decently and a star in waiting, they think, or they hope. So I wouldn't do that. Detroit, Jared Goff, who had been playing amazingly but has tailed off in the last week and a half, 2 weeks.
I still say Goff, but I'm not excited about it.
Right. It's closer than people think, but I still say Goff as well. Packers fans, if you're still here hanging out from the whole grocery break.
Yeah, I think Rodgers.
It's still Rodgers. Yeah, that's not even close. Kirk stays.
Still Kirk.
Dak stays. Daniel Jones.
Based on this season, I would say
this season and what they've achieved, I would say Daniel Jones. But any other season, I would have said Huntley in a heartbeat. Especially Huntley with Dable, like, that would be super fun.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would say, I bet that Dable, behind closed doors, off the record, might say Huntley because he knows he could do more with him.
Jacoby Brissett.
I think a lot of people would say Huntley right off, but I actually think the answer might be Brissett.
It's close. It's very close.
Yeah. Commanders?
Yeah.
Heineke or Huntley?
Huntley. Easy.
I would take Huntley, throw into Terry McLaurin all the time. Steelers? Interesting.
I still got to give Pickett some time.
I think you're right. I think they're more like the Atlanta category where they could, they have what they want. They've got Trubisky, a veteran that can win a few games. They've got Pickett, who they want to know about. I would leave that there. Obviously, Joe and Lamar are staying in the rest of that division. What do you think, Chris? Josh Allen or Tyler Huntley? Oh, I'm glad he wasn't mid-sip on that because he would have blown his drink all over the desk. Tua in Miami. Ooh, interesting question.
Tua.
The three-headed – no, not Tua. That's not the interesting question. The three-headed debate of Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, or Tyler Huntley.
Still probably.
The fact that it's even a toss-up is kind of crazy. I would stay with Mac, actually, because I think when he's healthy, he will be fine, and he had a good rookie season. But how many teams do we say maybe are yes for? It's more than 5.
Yeah, it's like 10 or 12.
That's more than 5. So,
Ooh,
anyways, fun
God,
little exercise.
just got crunched.
Yeah, Patrick Queen's going in the tent too.
Yep.
And he's holding his left shoulder collarbone area.
Oh,
That's not
man.
great.
Ravens injury issues continue. All right, Tom, I need you to throw 1,000,000 passes in this fourth quarter. Get me to 5 out of 5.
Starting right now, Tom. Please throw 1,000,000. Oh,
Hey, that still counts. I'll take it. I'll still take it.
I remember from the first half that all you need is attempts. And that actual game production means nothing.
I need 18. 18
More?
18 more throws from Tom.
I told you that was the one I was worried about, and it ain't happening, dude. Like, they're going to have to go into like an 8-minute drill.
I need overtime. That's what I need. I need them to throw every play, tie it up at 17.
You have benefited from overtime. It's true.
Don't hate the player, hit the game. Oh. Hey, got that one.
All of a sudden, you needed a Mike Evans catch, and you got a huge one.
We back up.
We should tell them all we back up. Oh, man. So, fresh into the fourth quarter. How many? 18, though? 17 now?
Oh, 17 now. It's not impossible.
Look at that ball, though.
Not impossible.
Look at that ball, though. Great throw against leverage. And what is Humphrey doing there?
He hasn't had a great year.
But how are you playing outside leverage on Evans?
Well, if he thought, depending on the call, if he thought he's supposed to have a safety there.
Yeah, but still use the boundary. What's the harm in running that as inside leverage?
Well, if you're in certain variations of quarters where you have a safety sitting inside, you would rather him play outside. But if that safety then had a rule that superseded it, like he had to pick up number 3 coming from the other way, all of a sudden you're stuck in outside leverage. And that's the
against
danger.
Mike freaking Evans.
Yeah, but that's just the design of the call, and he's not going to suddenly play inside leverage when he's supposed to play outside for quarters. So that's just the design of the call, and sometimes you can get caught in it, which is why quarters will tend to give up big ass post plays because the corners are supposed to play outside leverage until all of a sudden the safety gets occupied. And I suspect that's what happened there, but without the all-22, it's tough for me to know.
Yeah, for sure. Marcus Peters just missed a pick on the goal line.
Yeah, these DBs have dropped 2 picks tonight.
Watch this. He sees it.
Oh, God, it bounced right off his chest.
Look at Tom Brady. He's like, oh, he didn't catch it. Awesome. Not happy with his receiver, though. He's glad he didn't catch. He's glad that Peters didn't catch it, but he's not happy with his receiver.
Excuse me, Brett. He has had a great year. Are we talking about Marlon Humphrey?
All right.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Ooh, where's the flag? Mom wants a flag. Is he getting a flag? He's picking crap out of his knee brace and no flag. It feels like the worm has turned on the automatic Brady and Rodgers flag. Like, come on.
I just don't think they're calling. I don't think they're emphasizing hits during slides as much. I just don't think they're calling that as much this year overall.
They called that if you got anywhere near him for the past umpteen years. Now 3 guys pile on him. They don't call it. I'm not saying they should have called it. I'm saying, but they don't.
The league is cognizant of how it looks, and I think they are avoiding
that. Hasn't mattered for the last 5 years, so that's a new concern for them. Because if you breathed too hard near Tom Brady and he turned to the official and went like this, there was a flag, like immediately, and that's just been a thing. So they're having to earn it now, and I'm sure both of them don't like it because that makes that particular profession so much less fun to practice. Like, it's so much less being a quarterback when you can get your dick just driven into the dirt. That's not a cool thing.
Marlowe has been decent. Decent is how I would accept a description. Good, I don't know if I'd say good. Decent is about where I would go to. So you're correct if we're just leaving it at decent. but this has not been the normal Marlon Humphrey season that we're used to and expect. So I would leave it at decent. Peters has been objectively bad. Like he has been not good the entire year, to the point where I would look heavily at corner in the draft for them, because he just looks like he's run out of air in his tires at this point.
Chat is entertaining right now. I love it.
What'd they say?
Tom shouldn't be given extra privileges for being a geriatric.
He's fallen and he can't get up.
Yes, he's been given extra privileges for a long time, but it's largely because he's the greatest quarterback of all time and he's earned it.
People literally don't throw his way. Are you talking about Marlon? People throw out Marlon all the time.
Yeah. Marlon Humphrey has been at a solid Jordan Lewis level this year. I'm just going to leave that one lie.
Yeah.
Okay, hear me, Huntley. Hear me out, Huntley throwing to Sky Moore on the Chiefs sidelines. Oh, I love that comment so much for a bunch of reasons. But Ja, thank you very much for the $4.99 super chat. That's amazing. Rich getting richer and all that. We talk about it, but there are so many teams that could utilize Huntley as a starter. Like, he'd be a great backup on just about any team. I would love for him to be backing up Justin Fields. That would be amazing. But I would also feel a little bit sad because every time that guy comes on the field and gets to stay for more than a couple of quarters, he gets good. Whereas other quarterbacks have that little burst when they show up, because DCs don't know how to. We saw it with Bailey Zappi in the Monday night game. Like, he came on, he led 2 drives, he looked like gas on a fire, man. It was amazing, and they didn't do anything for the rest of the night.
I was a little bit annoyed about the Zappy thing, because the stadium, and I get, like, stadiums are stadiums, and they're chanting Zappy, and he gets like the long touchdown, which was honestly underthrown, and he's lucky that he even scored. But like, if you look at the call, like, they called fucking Z Leak, which is literally designed to get touchdowns against single high safety looks. They didn't give Mac that call, but Mac could have thrown that ball. Like, that's what Leak does. Like, that's every week you see long touchdowns on Leak, and they gave that call to Zappy and not to Mac, and everybody's like, "Oh, Zappy's better." It's like, no, they called a good fucking play. That's what happened.
Yeah. And the offense they're calling for Mac is, oh, there you go, you're done.
Yeah, I'm good there.
You got Gus yards.
I'm good on Gus.
So I'm good on Gus. I need a T-shirt that says I'm good on Gus. The play calling difference between Mac and Zappy is not a figment. It is absolutely 100% real. They are not calling the same sets of plays with both quarterbacks on the field. You can decide how you feel about that. That's fine, but it's factual. It's completely different.
He's hurt.
So,
man,
Gus is hurt?
Yeah. He couldn't get up after that run.
That's not good.
That's terrible.
I do not like that.
Brett,
I do not.
Will the cocktail porn ever return to your videos? It absolutely will. I haven't had, because of all the travel and everything that I've been doing, and obviously this week is no different. I have not had time to put it in, but after this Buffalo trip, I'm hoping to go back downstairs to record some episodes from the bar, make some drinks, get back on the saddle, so to speak. So I'm hoping to do that coming up pretty quick here. But because of the nature of a lot of the episodes that I've had to do from hotel rooms and all that kind of stuff, unfortunately, I couldn't bring all my cocktail making stuff to Miami with me to make a drink in the hotel. So coming soon.
Chris is killing it over on the other desk. You have fully infected him. He's
good.
He's ripping it up.
Good. Spread the message.
The stream does have cocktail porn. It just happens to be over there.
I'm still hurt the refs called that on my Falcons versus the Bucks. What makes it worse is referee Jerome Boger is from Atlanta and a family friend. Well, when you see him at Thanksgiving, I need you to say something for me.
Or
Okay?
just toss some potatoes at him. Just, accidentally. Just I didn't mean it.
Oh,
Uncle
whoops.
Jerome.
JJ for $2. I think you missed my last super chat. Let me go up and find it.
Just pour some Everclear into a hotel mug.
Here we go. Question from my dad. Would it be wise for the Seahawks to keep Geno for a couple years and wait and see if a Herbert or Burrow wants out? Beyond the Burrow or Herbert thing, I would keep Geno anyway. Like, Geno's played amazing.
Keep Geno.
Yeah, just keep Geno. Like, you would be insane to try to replace Geno right now. And in a few years, like, maybe that'll change, and the Herbert or Burrow thing, like, we'll see. But just in a vacuum, like, you should not replace Geno right now. He's playing out of his mind.
Okay, he's holding his left arm.
His right knee also had a real bad flex there.
Yeah, he's holding his left arm as he went into the tent, and he landed on his left shoulder. So again, something about this field tonight. It's 3 players who have come up holding their shoulder / collarbone / AC joint, like that general area.
Yeah,
not good. I mean, that's some nights are like that. I hate it when they are. By the way, it's terrible.
It's just freak accidents. By the way, did you see the Daniel Bellinger injury?
Yeah, fractured eye socket.
It's from a random punch out.
They did it. They did it.
They called a designed rollout. Oh my god.
No, it isn't. It's fake option. Watch this. Watch the back.
Is it sprint right option?
Yeah, but they're totally pulling coverage so they can throw to the basically the levels.
Sprint right option on short yardage. We love to see it.
Yeah, that's great. I love it.
I'm used to seeing that in the red zone. I'm not used to seeing that short yardage.
Did you see the one I retweeted today from Dan Casey?
Oh, is that the quarterback,
the running back,
and then through the rail off of it option? Yeah.
That was
disgusting.
Mean.
Disgusting.
Yeah, so mean, but I loved it. So, Coach Casey, if you're watching, thanks for posting that. That was amazing. Made my whole day. I was like, I watched it again. I was like, oh, that's vicious. That's so cool.
What's
injury coding?
What's Isaiah Likely up to now? Like 6 catches, 80 yards, TD?
I will tell you. I might not tell you. I have to refire this out. It now correctly reflects all stats, which is super cool. Isaiah Likely is the leading receiver on the Ravens right now. 6 catches, 77 yards, 12-8 per, and a TD.
Yeah, I got it about right.
Surpassing Demarcus Robinson's 6 for 64 at 10.7, no TDs.
RIP to everybody who played Andrews and Bateman. Jesus.
Well, yeah. Andrews 3 for 33, which, hey, great pace, really nice average. Would have had a boatload more. We know that with Mark Andrews, but went out with an injury. So it goes, which is no fun. It's more fun when great players stay in the game. That's my truism for the night. Oh, nice ball.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Almost got his block taken off, but didn't.
Tough catch for Dev Duve. Who was responsible for the TE there? Was it the Apex? I can't remember what the defense was on that sprint right option call. I'd have to go back and look at it. I didn't really look at what they were running.
Boy. Look at Lamar from the end zone angle. Just fire that ball.
Yeah. God,
you gotta
his knee didn't get caved in.
Yeah, you gotta put some sizzle on that thing to keep your receiver safe. If you loft that in at anything less than top velocity, Lamar's gonna
fired
tell him.
Up. Fired
He's
up.
Gonna tell him. And the flag. Oi. Anyways, if you put anything less than top velocity on that throw to Dev Duve gets crushed.
They called a hold.
On Ricard.
God, you kidding me? Rough.
Let's see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's done at his momentum. I'll give him that. Like, if you're
It's
moving
just
forward,
so
like guy horsepower
ticky-tack.
and lets you go, basically.
It's so
I
ticky-tack.
have to say, I'll go on my mini soapbox for 30 seconds. The whole "don't send me holding, it's not holding" Twitter faction, which includes some very prominent former NFL players, I freaking hate, because holding is a thing and it exists. And when you see a guy getting strangled from behind, like literally the arm is across the neck and they're doing this, that's holding. You
Well,
can call
it depends. Because
So,
there
Coleman.
is a rule stipulation that on a rip move, it's not holding if they rip themselves into that position. There's a lot of guys that get held like that when they don't throw a rip move. But on a rip, by rule, it's not holding.
You realize that the 3,000 miles separating us right now will not keep you safe?
I'm just saying, it's a rule.
And that you're literally flying.
See, you're a Bears fan and you're traumatized by David Bakhtiari. I get it, but I gotta advocate for the rule book. Technically, under those circumstances,
You're one of them.
I'm just saying. Gotta go by the letter of the law, even if the law sucks. Now, if you want to lead a populist uprising, and against the NFL offices in New York, you're not that far away.
If I was going to pick up a pitchfork in the porch, this might be the reason to do it, because mostly you say Packers, and yes, Packers for sure, but Khalil Mack got mugged on the regular. It wasn't just the Packers. Like, Khalil Mack is one of those guys who, look, he doesn't have any stats, and you turn around, there's two guys like absolutely just hanging off of him because they can't do anything else. Touchdown Ravens. Now, if I was at my typical football watching spot for this, our buddy who was on the pod last year would be more. He would be calling this out. So here's one for you.
This is the same play where you got the halfback lead blocking on the sweep.
Yeah. And he just lets it go because Deb's fast enough. You see how fast he let that ball go on the exchange?
Yeah.
He was like, woo, okay, take it. It's hot. It's all yours. Look at the space you got over there. Go do what you do, Dev Doof. Good for him. That's impressive. And your kick is good?
I still need 2 more points.
You got 7 minutes left, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I still need 2 more. I need Brady to throw a lot and make a furious comeback in no time at all. I need Lamar to rip off a big scramble, and then I need a Justin Tucker field goal.
Okay, a Justin Tucker field goal and a Lamar scramble, I could see. The Brady thing, I think you're boned.
Short of overtime, it ain't happening. No way.
Right. That's what I mean is I think you're boned.
But that being said, we are talking about the fourth quarter Ravens. And if there's one thing the Ravens really know how to do in the fourth quarter this year, it's fuck it up. So we'll see.
I'll tell you what, if there's one thing I can do.
Oh, man. First half Ravens, undefeated. Second half Ravens, worst team in the league.
I got to say, a little bit reversed tonight.
Yeah, oddly enough, yes.
Oddly enough, first half, they looked flat. They came out. They didn't make a lot of plays. Came out in the second half, looked sharp. Lamar started throwing darts. They started ripping off big runs. They started making the right calls, both on the sideline and on the field. All of a sudden, the offense clicked into gear, started working. Big gains on the rushing.
Greg Roman halftime adjustments. How about that? They do exist.
I want to call that like half credit, and the other half is him probably going, guys, you got to execute. Like, we had a bunch of plays in the first half where you made the wrong call, right? If you make the wrong call on a read, that's not Roman's fault. He's like, read the linebacker. And if you do it wrong, it's not Roman's fault. Now, as a longtime Roman needler, there's plenty of room there. Yeah, there's plenty of room there. But honestly, it's not all on him for the first half. worse than the second half Packers? I don't
I don't
know.
know. They
GP.
both equally blew it against the Giants, so I'll let you decide.
Yeah. Hmm. Can Brady please throw to Lenny G? I wonder. Kind what the motivation is there. Maybe you got, I don't know, both of them in your lineup. It's possible. Or a nice prize pick slip riding on Fournette receiving yards.
Which, I mean, I got my touchdown,
Hmm?
which thank God I did.
Yeah, because otherwise this entire slip would be detonated.
All right, I need 13 passes from Tom Brady. If this drive goes correctly, I might get that in one drive. Yeah,
I don't.
I don't know.
This is my Anchorman impersonation. I don't believe you.
By the way, chat, if you noticed, I have not overheated once this entire time because I figured out that I'm a moron and had my camera set to 4K for the last month. And when you leave a camera on 4K, it gets really hot instead of 1080p. So I put it back on 1080p, and magically it decided not to overheat anymore. So might be.
I and you tried to do it to mine because the last time our cameras were together
Yeah.
in Texas, you set mine to 4K. And when I got home, I was like, what the hell is this? All the settings are all screwed up. So I actually went factory default and started over. So I reset mine, which is why mine hasn't been overheating and his has for the last since we went to Texas.
All right, 12 more passes. 12 more passes, Tom. Let's go.
Shake that finger, Tom. You might get it, but
Brett, you're doing your best. My best isn't very good, guys.
I don't know. I think your best is pretty good, but the 4K thing does crack me up. Mostly just because it persisted so long. I figured you'd spend one of those.
Well, I just forgot about it. I forgot about it because I record the film room in 4K, but normally when I record the on-camera part of film room, that's like 20 minutes, so it's never a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm glad we got it figured out. I figured you'd do one of those little deep dives like you did on audio issues when we started the stream and just eliminate it. What is that?
Another missed opportunity for a completion, which is great for me because it means he has to throw it again. That's what that was.
Okay. All right. I'm
bright side of life, EJ. Bright side of life.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All right, second and 10. Oh, they brought 4. Oh, great pickup by Rachaad White there. That was a great blitz pickup. See if they're going to show a replay of this pass pro. Watch 29 in the backfield, Rachaad White. Completely stoned him, ate grass, kept his feet square.
Oh, man, it's a rushing attempt. You don't need that. I mean, it's Rachaad White, which is cool. After, it's, they say earn your reps, right? Earn your runs.
Yeah.
Earned it in pass pro, gets a nice little carry up the middle there. That's cool. But you don't need runs. Oh, Brady going deep.
Oh, he wants it all? And he's going to get it? Nope. Oh,
no,
are they doing the whole underthrow, get a PI? Yep, it worked. It worked. The underthrown PI strikes again.
Yeah. Underthrown back shoulder. Your very favorite. Look at Harbaugh. He's like, how's he supposed to know it's going to be 4 yards short? He turned his head. I think that's a terrible flag. Stevens turns his head.
Yeah, what do you want from him? It's not his fault he underthrew it by 5 yards.
I really think that's a terrible flag. Do not agree.
Although I do think it's rich for Harbaugh to complain about that as if he didn't benefit it from Flacco and Torrey Smith for half a decade.
Yeah.
That was like literally their offense in 2012 was PI calls on Torrey Smith.
Yeah.
EJ's frozen in time. This is hilarious.
I am frozen in time. I'm not sure why.
You just look pissed.
I kind of, it's probably the PI, right?
Yeah.
There we go. Chris is working his magic.
There we go. Ah.
Uh-oh, who's down?
Hamilton, I think. It kind of looked like Hamilton.
Thumb rolls right. Back to the middle. Resets his feet. Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, does he roll into
yeah,
Hamilton's legs?
I think he rolled into his legs. Oh, that's a tough one. That's a tough one for a.
He got his feet up. What's going on here?
Another shoulder injury? Are they playing on concrete?
I mean, like he's.
Oh no! It did. He did grab his ankle, so I guess it was just enough. It was just enough.
Grabbing his shin.
Like his foot twitched a little bit, but I thought he got it up in time.
I was gonna say he didn't get like I thought he was gonna get straight up rolled up on when I looked at the first part of it, but he leapt over it, so maybe it just got snagged in the turf when he was jumping up or something, which I'm sure could hurt a lot. Oh, Brady wanted the hold on Clark, and I'm not so sure that he was wrong.
I think you see if you're gonna call one, call that one.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you.
It's like a makeup no call.
Somebody, makeup no call. Please God, Evans touchdown. You're not the only one. Brett is right in that wagon with you, riding towards the cliff. Oh, Tom, throw it.
Tom, oh,
he did it, and guess who scored it?
Cade Otton. There it is.
Cade Otton.
Man, Tom running is hilarious to me at this point. Just like a glacial pace.
It's not. Oh, flag though. Oh, it's coming back.
Oh,
Donovan Smith. We talked about Donovan Smith's struggles in the pass protection for the last 2 weeks. Is this? He got his hand outside the frame.
I think they called it because he didn't release quick enough.
Oh,
sorry. I was looking at the guard.
He's under the shoulder pad, just torquing it up and down. Like, why do you lift your hands, Donovan? That's a hold.
I was looking at the wrong guy.
Under his pads, torquing him off kilter. Like, yeah, that's going to draw a flag.
I got to go back and look at it.
Unlike your phantom snuff move that.
Could have called him on that one, too. He threw the guy to the ground.
But you still get attempts, right?
I do.
Oh, does the attempt to Otton count because it got erased with the penalty?
Nah, it's ruled no play.
Oh, sad.
Yeah.
Sad. No Otton fantasy, please. Oh, somebody's playing Cade Otton.
How and why?
20-team league.
How down bad are you at tight end that you're playing Cade Otton right now?
20-team league. Either that or he's just a UW homer.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Brady not happy. What does a frustrated goat look like? That.
Oh, man. What is that? How many penalties on Tampa is that tonight? It might be double digits at this point.
It's not pretty all of a sudden.
Yeah,
like
awful.
It was okay, and now it's not okay. And Tom hates that stuff. Like that's preventable stuff. That's mental stuff. He hates that stuff.
Holden
not a happy boy.
I'm starting Irv Smith. I'm down bad as hell. Drafted Pitts high. Well, you're gonna love this week's film room episode then. It's all about our shared struggle, comrade.
Yes, comrade. All right. Can we transfers, suck ups, field goal to Justin Tucker? Is that a thing?
Does Tampa have any timeouts left? Let me look.
Oh, Tom, not a happy boy. All right, 4:54 in the fourth quarter. It's not automatic, but unfortunately, you still need Lamar rushing yards, right?
Yeah, I need another 35. I don't know if I'm going to get that.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Unless he breaks it all off in one.
Sure, but if you needed 15, I would say there's actually a pretty good chance of that.
So Buccaneers still do have 3 timeouts, which means if they get a decent stop here, they'll get the ball back and Tom will keep throwing again. And I need, how many do I need? Six more attempts from Brady to get to my 3. So I need a field goal from Justin Tucker, which will get me to my 3, or I need 6 attempts from Brady, which will get me to my 3, or I need 20 rushing yards from Lamar, which will get me to my 3. One of those has to happen. Actually, let me just show you the slip.
I'm not even going to bring that possibility up.
Now, alternatively, if Brady throws 6 balls and doesn't complete shit, and then Lamar gets a big pass and a big run, and Justin Tucker gets a field goal, I win everything. And we are threading the needle. I doubt it. That would be the ultimate degeneracy for me, is if we somehow miss on everything all at once. But
we do love ultimate degeneracy.
I think there's an equal chance that I hit on everything as there is that I lose everything.
Okay.
Oh, man. This game is way too tight.
Oh, my goodness.
Ben's bot said go for it. On the field goal? Because if they went for it, they would know that they still need 11 with 3 timeouts and 5 minutes left. And theoretically, they could have just gotten 8 right there if they went for it. Is that the logic? I mean, it makes sense, but I'm just trying to work it through in my head.
Right. 24-16. So what we went through a first half like monkey throwing poo session, and we ended up with a real football game.
This has actually been a very entertaining game, all things considered. Even better than last week.
Considering that, well, no.
Yeah, it's better than last week. It's competitive.
You think?
Yeah.
It is competitive.
It's not just a quarterback throwing pick sixes, It's like genuinely, back and forth. It's not just the Andy Dalton Christmas special, Like
it was the Andy Dalton Christmas special. That probably is my name for that game forever now.
Curtis Rogers for $5. 6 more Kenyon Drake yards, and I'm up $600 on the night. Hell yeah!
Like, let's get that
on Prize Picks. On $600 on Prize Picks for 6
it better
Kenyon
be on
Drake
Prize
yards.
Picks if you're on this stream.
That'd be awesome.
That would I'm all for your 6 yards. Like, let's get you 6 yards anyway. Are they all purpose yards?
You might get it right here. There you go. $600. There you go.
Oh my God, that's so much. It's amazing. All right, well, if we ever meet up with you, you're buying. That's amazing. $600 on a
so
late burst from
what's
Kenyon
the best
Drake
steakhouse? What's the best steakhouse around you?
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
Huge,
Stanley with the pole.
hole.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. He almost broke it all the way. He was really close.
Holden for $2. Here's to the Kyle Pitts film room. Need it soon. It's coming. It's coming. Either tomorrow or Saturday. It's coming.
You said Holden, and I thought you said Holding, and I was like, no.
That'd be the worst bad beat ever.
That would be a terrible bad beat. All right, here. Oh, they
right.
got it. They closed it down.
18 more Lamar rushing yards.
Yeah, I was really hoping you were going to get like 5 or 8 there, but they did. Credit to the Bucs. They did a great job holding that one down.
So,
and again, that's the play we've told you is the play they go to all the time when they need yards, and Tampa knew it, and they closed the holes. They had good gap control on the inside there.
Lamar, 18 rush yards, get stopped at the 1, kick a field goal, Brady 6 attempts on the last drive. We could do this, EJ.
After the Kenyon thing, it's all gravy. Wow.
Oh, my God.
Justice
running through all sorts of tackles.
Running tough. And they keep the clock moving.
How many more yards do I need from Lamar? Let's see. They haven't added
18,
in. No, they haven't added in the last one yet.
Oh, it was only like 2 yards, maybe 16?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Great job by Hill. Did you see who tackled him?
Vita, I think.
Vita, all the
Yeah.
way out on the edge. Like, that's one of the reasons Vita's really, really impressive. Not very many defensive tackles had the wherewithal to get out there and make that stop. They're just going to hand it off. They don't want any Lamar punishment at this moment.
But J Tuck, field goal time.
Tuck's gonna get the field goal, like most likely.
Which means we're at least even on the day.
You're not losing.
We're not losing. Everything from there on out.
You need to come up with a reverse Ricky Bobby quote. If you're not losing, whatever the rest of that is.
So if I get 4 out of 5, which J Tuck will give me 3, they still haven't added in his previous points. I don't know why, but so that'll get me 3, and then Brady would get me 4 if he throws 6 balls, which I think he would, which would pay me $100. It'd give me 2x, so that'd pay me $100 on the slip.
All right,
So
here comes Tuck.
I would very much enjoy that.
We would very much enjoy that. Again, Coleman's garbage time. Like,
I don't know. It's a competitive game. I don't know if I call it garbage time, but definitely fourth quarter
betting
clutchness.
garbage time. This is betting garbage.
I'm the Brian Dable of betting slips. I don't
I
care
think
how
you're
down
the-
and out I am. Fourth quarter comes around, baby. I deliver.
I think you're the spiritual successor to Katie Nolan's garbage time.
Oh, wait, that was her show, right? Garbage time?
That was her
Yeah.
show. Yeah, we gotta give credit where credit's due. There you go. Not surprising, but guess what? Tuck made a field goal.
What's she doing now?
She's doing baseball for Apple Plus.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't even know that. Good for her.
Yeah.
I didn't know Apple did baseball.
Okay, so that's on that particular slip you're losing. On you probably over 3, but over 2 to start off, and you didn't even know the first 2, so you're not winning any money on the Katie Nolan Apple Plus baseball slip.
Got the body, Jay. Got the bot.
Oh, look at this watch list. They just had it up. Packers Bills. And is it weird to you that they now have a section called watch list?
Yes, I'm sure they watch our podcast every week.
That's damn right. You know they do.
It's not gambling if you don't lose your slip.
I'm just going to read that one from Greg. That's classic. Oh, that's us sharing a brain again. It's not gambling if you don't lose your slip. Well, one could argue.
All right, 212. Yeah, Brady's throwing 6 here. Brady's throwing 6.
Now, just a question. Theoretical, of course.
Yeah.
Brady throws a bomb to Mike Evans for the touchdown. Just
Be
one.
Great for my fantasy team. Horrible for me.
That's what I'm talking about here. There
Worst
would be
case scenario for me.
semi-happiness in Mudville. Your fantasy team would be happy. Your slip would be shattered.
Again, Coleman promo code on Prize Picks gives you a guaranteed 4 out of 5. Well, the Coleman one won't, but the bootleg one will.
All right, there's one.
All right,
And you
Lenny,
got
get the fuck
Fournette.
down so we can keep throwing.
Yeah, you got Fournette receiving yards. I don't think that helped because you already had your touchdown from Fournette.
Surprised they didn't flex Giant Seahawks to Sunday Night Football. Are they allowed to flex this early in the season? I don't know if they are.
Don't know.
I thought that was like
All right.
late.
Byron's out there. He's like, hey, Brett needs like 5 more tosses. Keep him short. Come on. Like, speed it up. We need high rhythm passes here.
If he throws a pick, like 4 tosses in, I'm going to be sick.
It'll be great.
I'm going to be sick.
It'll be great. It makes for a good live stream. So my second, well, it's not a numbered question. My current question is how many degenerates are still with us on this live stream?
Right now, we're at 507. We've actually been holding at 500 most of the night.
500 to
Yeah.
watch the end of Ravens Bucks and mostly the end of Brett's slip, whether it's in ashes or
Sweat it
cash.
out every week, man. Sweat it
That's
out every
right.
week.
That's right. So I would argue it is gambling. You just have to see if you lose
Yeah.
your stuff.
Let's see here. I'm at 34. I need 40. Or no, I'm at 35. I need 40.
Oh, here's
There's
one.
one.
And he got it.
Ooh, did he? Or did it pop out?
Uh-oh. Flag. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it was roughing the passer.
Oh, well, then it does count because they will say no thanks. Or it gets added to the end. Yeah, 15 from the end. Oh, that's tough. That puts you really close. You might not get the requisite number of passes in the remaining number of yards.
Well, if I get some incompletions.
That's true. It's just attempts. I keep having to remind myself. He didn't catch it, by the way. If they throw the flag, he didn't catch that ball.
So that's a no play then, I think. Technically speaking, it's a no play.
Doink, hits the ground.
Yeah.
Nope. Not calling that a
All
catch.
right.
But the NFL doesn't know what a catch is, so that might work in his favor.
Throw some fucking screens.
Yeah, you want quick ones. You want little flares, not these bombs down the field. I don't think he keeps control of that ball. It makes it hard to see, but
I don't think it's a catch. I don't think it's a catch.
I don't think it's a catch either. But we have been wrong before, even tonight.
Because, it hits the ground. Straight up. Hits the ground.
I don't disagree with you, but they're making a lot of mileage out of this. Kind of, sort of. No, doink. But they called it a catch on the field, which is the tough part. Yes, my Julio under bet will be saved. Everybody's got motivation. Catch it, don't catch it. Be a throw, don't be a throw.
If they keep that as a catch,
yeah.
Then the rule doesn't matter anymore.
The rule doesn't matter as it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
They're saying no catch on the broadcast.
All right.
So they declined the penalty. Ryan Grunmeyer for $5. Thanks for making my hour drive home better. My $100 straight up on Baltimore looking better and better. What's your take on the 5-1 Vikings so far? 5-1 Vikings. I would say that O'Connell is doing exactly what we thought he would do going into the year, which is A, improving locker room culture. The players genuinely seem to like him. And B, I think that he's elevated Kirk. Not that Kirk is playing at an all-pro level or anything like that, but I feel like we're not getting as many valleys with Kirk as we did in prior years under Zimmer. So I think he's kind of leveled him out a little bit. I would like to see the run game get a little bit more involved. I think they're skewing a little bit too heavily towards the pass game right now, when I think on paper they should be able to run the ball very well out of all that 11 personnel stuff they like to do. I would like to see them do that like O'Connell did it with the Rams, especially because their receivers all block really well. So I would like to see them run the ball a little bit more, but they're winning. The defense, especially the pass rush, has played really well. Kirk hasn't really given any games away. Yeah, they're just a better, more consistent team this year. Now, can they stack up against Philly in the playoffs? We'll see. But I do think they have the requisite talent to give them a game if Kirk is on his heater. Big if, though.
You just got another attempt.
And he got out of bounds.
Which gives you more time for yet another attempt. Time for Scotty Moore. Wow.
Yeah, it's time for a Leonard Fournette carry up the middle. That's what it's time for.
Yet another one. Got to get it loose, Tom. No.
Throw it, Tom, you old fuck.
No. That is not. Oh, man. We need to talk about Justin Madubuike. He is having a really good season. We have not said his name yet on the podcast. I don't think so. We really need to. He's one of those guys on the interior defensive line that's been hammering away, getting results too. But I'm glad he made a big play there on on what is a nationally televised game because hopefully more people recognize it. He's getting it done. That's a straight double team, spins off, gets the sack. Like, okay.
Yeah.
And again, Bucks wouldn't be double teaming him if he, wasn't producing results.
God, what am I at right now?
You need 3 more?
4.
4 more. That's rough. Because here comes 1. Oh, that's right. He didn't get it off last time. All right.
First down.
Otten runs a guy over.
Keep going.
That's Cade for you. Cade chipping into your slip. We got $130 left. You need 3 more at this point?
3 more, I think.
Okay.
I need to get to 40.
There's 1.
Get out of bounds, Lenny.
Down. Another first down. Got it back to the
I
ref.
think I need 2 more. I think.
Come on, Tommy. Oh, timeout. All right.
All the stats website are frozen
TikTok.
on 36. I think he has 38.
Let's refresh. And Buccaneers 37 is what I see, but it might not have the last one up quite yet.
Does a spike count as an attempt? I think so. Right?
Yes.
Pretty sure it does.
Yes, it does. It has to get removed from stats to have a cleaner look at actual passer rating.
Okay.
Like QBR doesn't count spikes.
All right. He's at 38. I need 2. Manifesting,
You know what
chat.
this- You know what this
Manifesting.
requires? Point break. Utah. Give me 2.
All right. One
There's
more.
1.
One more.
Cade Otten coming through for you. You're gonna get it. There's $112. Like,
Come on, you beautiful geriatric bachelor. Come through for me.
oh my God! Here we go. Got it out of his
No
hand.
whammies, no whammies, no flag,
He
no
got it out of
flag.
his hand.
$100, baby. Let's fucking go.
Oh my God!
All right, so
And-
score here.
and a spike. That gives you everything you need.
So let's see. What are they? They're down by 11. So score here, EJ.
Yeah.
Onside, recover, get down the field, field goal, overtime, Lamar 30-yard scramble.
Oh,
We got to hit every
okay.
green light. But we're going to do it.
Dude, my drive home is like 12 miles. I would have to hit every green light. Like that's not happening. But come on. This is not only a non-losing slip, this is now a winning slip.
Yeah. But it could be a much bigger winner if we have some Tom Brady bullshit.
Look at this play on the goal line.
Kyle Hamilton.
I'm telling you, credit where credit is due. Oh, that one got batted down. Still
God,
counts
he
as an
might
attempt.
get
but
50
faster
attempts.
attempt.
Get
Yeah,
50 attempts.
no,
for
all of a
this
sudden, they're all taking like 4 seconds.
16 yards? Is that what it is? Yeah, you're right. It updated 45, so he needs 16 yards. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can
No, he
accept
needs
that.
like one really good scramble. But no,
if-
yeah, that was Kyle Hamilton with a great play on the goal line. Textbook stuff. Control hand on the back of the shoulder pads, lean in front with your leading hand, get the palm up, and flag.
On who, though?
I don't know because it got thrown right in the middle.
Did another Raven get hurt? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, what are they playing on? Like concrete filled with tacks?
Oh, my
Penalty is
God.
declined. Flag is all right. Touchdown.
Who got hurt, though?
I don't
It looked
know.
like a DB.
Yeah, they can't really afford that.
Is that Julio? Oh, somebody just lost their Julio under.
Yeah, the Julio under was not protected. We're sorry.
How's that for a bad beat?
Some
Oh my
some
God.
Julio unders were not protected in the making of this game. Oh, Tom, what are you doing?
Oh, he dropped it! Oh, no! Oh, but they
you
called
know
a
the
hold.
Eagles
They
took
called a hold.
beats.
We're still alive. Oh
You know how many?
no.
Oh my goodness.
This is awful. Wait, what was the oh fuck, what was the rate? What was the line going into this
For
game?
total for
Yeah,
points,
I need to see the line.
somebody's taking a bad beat off that Otten drop for sure. You know it. Oh look, Clark. This is what he did on the last one. Yeah, the ref's like, sorry man, you can't just like absolutely mug him for 3 seconds.
46 and a half.
46 and a half, says Chris, was the line.
Okay, so we're already over it. And then Tampa was favored by
Correct.
2. I knew that.
Nope, 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 nope. Ravens bowing up the goal line. Patrick Queen of all people.
Yeah. Okay. So onside, recover, field goal, onside, recover, pin Lamar at the 1, safety. Overtime, Lamar scramble. That's what we need, EJ.
We apologize for the previous 60 seconds of content. One commenter has clearly lost their mind.
I mean, technically possible, but like,
Technically possible for sure. Also, I might hit every light on the way home. Not happening. Yeah, I think Google Maps said that it was going to be like 21 minutes here. Yeah, no, it was not 21 minutes here. Slightly more.
So Julio, did he get his under?
No, I don't think so. I don't know if it's a catch under or a
maybe.
score under.
I don't know.
If he was worried about the last one, he did not, because it added both a catch and a score, so he's losing. Either way.
Seriously though, if Tampa does win this game, that's going to be some fucking crazy Ravens voodoo shit that always happens to them.
Yeah. Down 5, 49 seconds to go. No timeouts. And they win? Yeah. That would be
All time.
That would rank right
All
up there.
time.
Yeah. I'm catching strays from the home folks. Daddy, you need to have a cool background. You should do that in your home studio. Yeah.
Working on it. Working on
I
it.
was going to say, join the chorus. You and Brett can sit right next to each other and throw peanuts. Just be like, upgrade your background. It's happening. It's happening. Had meetings before I left the house about upgrading the background.
What was that onside?
Giselle is rooting for the refs. Wow. Okay.
Oh, man.
Kel says, EJ, I think your drive home is 3,000 miles down I-90. It's 2,000, but yeah, I've done that one. And there are some lights. You'd be surprised. Not many, but it's like 1,970 miles or something. You catch a couple. Go through a couple of construction zones. They have like little light barrels. It's crazy what happens out in the middle of Nowheresville.
The Bucks are going to be 3-5.
Yeah, did not see that coming.
No. And I know they've had injuries, like Jensen and Wirfs got banged up. And
Jensen, I mean, you could stop at Jensen. And
I get it. I get it. But
important.
man, if you told me in August this was going to be a 3-5 football team,
3-5, I could see if they continue to lose bad or close games. I didn't see that, because they could come right back, win a couple of games, and be 5-5, and have 7 more games to go. They could compete. The NFC is not super loaded, right? So,
but man,
it's possible. Now, did I think they would have a losing record at this point of the season? Before the season? No, I wouldn't have predicted that. Is it terrible? Is it time to burn the ship? No. Because again, if they come back and win 2 games, get to 500, they're probably going to make it.
Now, the comments that I made before the game saying it's a 2.5 horse race in the AFC, it's Chiefs, it's Buffalo, and then healthy Bengals, but Jamar's going to be out, so they might trail off a little bit in terms of standings, even though they still will be in the playoffs. But I mentioned before the game that the Ravens were a snake in the grass, and I wouldn't be surprised if they eventually work their way into the conversation.
Wait, I thought there was smoke in a keyhole, not snake in the grass.
Oh God, I'm mixing metaphors at this point. But this is the type of game that reminds you that you think about everything bad that has happened to the Ravens this year, all the injuries, all the horrific, almost inexplicable losses, especially the one against the Giants. They're still 5-3. They're 2 games out of the first seed. Now, will they be able to catch Buffalo and Kansas City? It's going to be tough, but it's not impossible. It's really not. And I think that 3rd seed is in play, which means, they're facing, some wild card team, which would be, God, who would be the wild card team in the AFC? It's not super heavy this year. Jets,
No,
Miami.
But there's a lot of good teams that, again, given all the games we have left, could work themselves into that position.
Yeah.
We've got 2 super chats that I think the last 2 are super relevant. First one from Ryan. First time Brady's lost 3 in a row since 2002.
Yikes.
2 decades. So all this stuff, these cracks that you don't normally see from Brady that we brought up during the stream, balls in the dirt, multiple miscommunications throughout a game, like 2 or 3 for a couple weeks in a row. These things add up. NFL games, that was a close game. That was a winnable game, right? A couple more of those completions, a couple less drops from the receivers. Like, those are the things that turn football games. And Tom Brady has inexplicably been able to avoid that for 2 decades. Not piled up 3 losses in a row in 2 decades, and it just happened. So that one, appreciate that, Ryan. And then the second one from Colin, I think, is, again, something probably nobody predicted, which is the winner of Panthers-Falcons leads this horrible division.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Speaking of things that nobody was talking about, like, it's true. So
wait. Oh shit. Yeah, because the Panthers would be 3-5, and they. Oh God. Division leading Panthers in Week 8.
Yeah. No, I just. This entire stream was just made worthwhile by the light coming on behind your eyes for that. You're like, no. I was like, aha, he just got it. Yep. So appreciate that, Colin. That's a fantastic super chat. JJP, my background in my studio office is filled with anime figures, mainly Dragon Ball, but I do have some Steelers and Penguin stuff in there as well. Well, that's a healthy mix. I think that's a very creative space. So appreciate the super chat. Appreciate everybody that hung out, all the absolute sickos that pushed on through the end of this one. Gotta appreciate the Grossi Posse for dropping in the middle of chat and just inflating our numbers through the roof. Yeah, it's all good. Lots of unexpected things on the stream tonight.
They still haven't added in J Tuck's points, but that's a 4 out of 5, gentlemen, which means $100.
Ding, ding, ding.
And then second half, I blew the second half, but
Ah,
it's fine. We're still up 80 on the night. I'll take it.
that is a win. That is a straight up win. So
if you want to fill out some slips, by the way, for Sunday or Monday, you could still use our promo code Bootleg over at Prize Picks. They'll match your deposit up to $100, give you some free stuff to play with. That's the same deposit that I started with before this season, and I am now up to, from all my winnings, what am I up to? 298. So
there you go.
You can work your way up.
You can tail the Coleman Index. We're going to call it the Coleman Index, like the Dow Jones Industrial.
And I'm going to start losing now. I almost guarantee.
Yeah.
It. Now that I talked it up.
You're gonna start losing. But as for now, if you'd trailed all the slips to now, you'd be up about $300. So hang out with our good friends over at Prize Picks. Have them match your deposit up to $100. Have fun picking stuff. Heck, have fun picking against us, because it doesn't always work out.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be the winner of the second half slips, because that really hasn't been us. But first half slips, man, you are undefeated in like the last 4 or 5 minutes of games. It is ridiculous.
Garbage time, man.
Garbage time.
I was born in it, molded by it.
I was born in the dark. Oh, well, I'm gonna kick out of here. It's 11:30 local. I'm gonna let Chris have his basement back. Huge thanks to Chris and Drew and the Rock Pile Report guys for not only letting us hang out here on a Thursday, but also we're going to record the pod here from Monday. Of course, we're going to tailgate with them on Sunday. So they're pretty much the hosts with the most through the whole weekend. Can't thank them and theirs enough, because really making a huge difference in what we're able to bring you while we're here.
Yeah, we appreciate both them and all the liquor we're going to buy them as thanks. And we appreciate all of you. And we will see you early next week with another post-Bills Packers podcast, and of course another Thursday night stream for Texans, Eagles, and until then, see you later.